You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find. Welcome to the One More for the Good Guys podcast, where good guys gather to shed light on the good life, the people, and the good things that make it that way. I'm Mike McGill with my co-host, Jamie Akins. Now, raise your glass, lend us your ear, and let's have one more for the good guys. You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find.
On today's guest episode, we have our friend and soon-to-be yours, Mick Harrison. Skullbone, Tennessee native, a singer-songwriter, and local business owner. Mick was at one time a band member of the popular Knoxville group, the V-Roys. He now has his own long-term project, Mick Harrison and the High Score. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mick Harrison.
Is this going to bother you? All right, good.
I get to drinking. I might actually buy one off of you.
No, hell, buy one.
I didn't have any yesterday. First day I had a cigar.
That's what's wrong with you.
Well, I had one today.
Yeah.
But
you chewed it up.
I did.
You eat it. You didn't smoke it. You just eat it. You're so mad. You just eat it.
And I brought this worthless motherfucker right here because I've been looking at him. This is a Rocky Patel. Today on our podcast, what are
you smoking today, Jamie?
I'm smoking a Rocky Patel Sun-Grown from the most overrated fucking cigar company on the planet.
All right.
Although this is a pretty good one and the draw's pretty good, but you already see it's fucking falling apart. So I thought, well, I'm already pissed off. I'll just stay pissed off.
Well, we can get you a good cigar if you need one.
I brought some good ones with me, but I mean, it's got to be smoked. Get out of my damn humidor.
I hear you.
What are you smoking?
I am smoking the JFR Lunatic in the short Robusta or short Titan size. I don't know what that means, but it's
means it's got a
4.5 inch by 60 ring gauge.
Titan size means it's got an ugly fucking band and ain't worth a shit.
San Andreas
like football team.
San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler. So should be nice. It's supposed to be a pretty good one. I got it into my Cigar of the Month club from cigar.com. So I'm going to start trying to maybe smoke some of those on the show where we can let you know what's going on there. So we'll see how it goes. They do use Aganorsa tobacco in it too. So that's nice.
They're not really that pricey, that brand.
No, they're and they do a lot of crazy shit. They do a lot of weird sizes. I mean, like they came out with one this year that was 10 inch by 100 ring gauge, which is absolutely fucking crazy.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds...
well, it's about like that baseball bat at the, you get it at bat night at the ball fields,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about that size, so...
well, I think that's what I smoked the other day, wasn't it? That 7 by 70 or 7?
No, this is 10 by 100.
Oh, well, fuck that.
Yeah, that's like what I'm...
Yeah, that's some Cheech and Chong shit there.
Yeah, some... But at any rate, that's what we're smoking. And you've heard that other voice in here. I'm Mike. That's Jamie, who's been in such a good mood today. Our good buddy and longtime friend, Mr. Mick Harrison's here with us.
Hey, everybody. I'm trying to get my damn mic stand fixed. There you go.
He has made the trip all the way up here to scenic Mascot. And we got to talk a little bit about Mascot and that this was one of the places he liked to drive through sometimes. And,
I love that industrial creek you got behind the house.
Yeah, well, and I never completely answered you about that. There was a water wheel down there.
Is that
that's
right?
where all that was happening, and they could adjust the levels and the runoff and all that stuff.
I always wonder. I mean, like I say, I love driving this little route right through here, just get out and listen to music or whatever. And I've always wondered, what in the hell is that straight up, concrete creek? And I know it just looks really cool.
Yeah. As kids, we used to go down there and we would tie we'd tie cables or ropes off to big trees and we'd rappel down it.
I believe that.
Down there and fish.
Because hell,
and
it's,
stuff, you know.
after looking at the map coming over here, it's right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably only about 100 yards down the hill from the back of the honky tonk here.
I've caught a lot of fish in that creek.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's Flat Creek. That's a
Big smallmouth, big red eyes, bluegill, stuff like that.
hell, the world record smallmouths in that river right there.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
Holston, I think so too.
Guarantee it.
You know, if you went back out like the way you came in, Mick, if you go on back out this way and go past the little store up here and on down, you'll come through a big dip there, and all the old timers used to call it Spout Holler.
Okay, I know the dip you're talking about. What they call it?
Spout Holler.
Oh, okay.
There's a little creek that comes in right there, and there are rocks. There's all kinds of shoals there, first of all, and then there's these deep holes, and there's rocks in there the size of this, you know.
Awesome.
And we've caught some big fish out of there for sure.
I'm telling you, man, Mascot, it's a place to be, by God.
Well, we're certainly glad you're here. We've known each other for many years, and of course, you and Jamie just put it together before we started really rolling that you guys had met down at Pick and Grin back when I guess right after you had first came back to, or not back, but
first came up here. That's been a pretty good while, actually.
Yeah.
28 years.
Yeah, isn't that weird? I think I've been up here the same amount of time as when in West Tennessee where I grew up. I've lived here as much here as I had there.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's weird. But it's awesome. I feel like this well, I don't feel like it. It is. This is my home. This is my home country right here.
Yeah. Well, now, you know, we've said a lot about Mascot, but you were from a very small town, and would that be considered Middle Tennessee?
No, that's total West Tennessee. Yeah,
so
that is
Bradford. Is that correct?
Bradford's where I graduated from.
Okay,
but most people know, or some people know, right outside of Bradford, there was a little place called Skullbone.
Okay,
so and that's kind of where Bradford. Nobody knows who Bradford is. But,
yeah.
You say Skullbone, some people go like, "Oh, I've heard of that."
You play high school football, you know who Bradford is.
Not Bradford, Tennessee. We didn't even have it. We didn't even have a football team.
I think you do now.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. Or no, maybe I'm thinking Bradley County.
I think you're thinking that.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Go ahead.
I think we just got a baseball team, and they did really good. But yeah, I don't really know anybody in Bradford anymore. It's not like my mom lives there. I'll just say that. But yeah, this is my home country right here.
So what brought? I mean, okay, so Skullbone, Tennessee. Your dad was a sawmill man. Is that right?
Oh yeah. He's a sawmill man. Logging, mainly logging.
Family business was his folks that too.
Yep. My granddad, they had a circle mill they built like the late 40s.
Okay.
Because my granddad, he got the what do you call it in World War II? Because they needed farmers.
Right.
He was one of the farmers.
Okay.
And at the end of World War II, they built a little circle mill, and from there, it just kind of like, I wouldn't say got huge, but it did pretty good for a while.
Right.
And by the time I left, I just had a little wood miser mill.
Okay. Yeah.
Which was fun.
Yeah.
I could have saw the lumber for this place easy.
Yeah. There's when I first started thinking about doing this over here, I watched a lot of stuff that was people on YouTube and stuff that with the wood misers and
those things are awesome. They're
the
good
different
meals.
ones. Yeah, they really were. And if you got the time to do it, I mean, and God Almighty, with lumber prices the way they are now, I mean, you can save yourself a ton of money.
Absolutely. I mean, my only problem is I'd have one right now in East Tennessee if I had a place to put it. Because, I mean, I got some background. I mean, I'm a certified lumber inspector. I don't know if you knew that or not, Jamie. I got a little diploma at home.
No, well, how does one become a certified lumber inspector? I mean, I've heard stories. Well, but this is your story.
One's dad forces you to go to Memphis and go to lumber inspection school.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how it happens.
All right. I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a bad job. I remember one day I was like on the green chain in Camden, Tennessee, and I really liked a guy. I can't remember his name, but he was old, man. He's about ready to retire. Mm-hmm. And he was hunched over. I know you can't see me on this podcast like this, but hunched over, and he couldn't straighten up from flipping them boards and marking it. And I was like, man, I do not want to do that. And, in the 90s, he was making like $20 an hour. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I just don't want to end up like that,
Yeah. Well, I guess, with a little bit of insight that was possible foresight, that was probably a good call.
Maybe. I mean, I would probably have a lot more money now.
Yeah.
Playing guitar don't do it to you. You still get hunched over from doing that.
Yeah.
But
it ain't $20 an hour.
Yeah. No shit.
It ain't $20 a damn week. But I have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Way more. Yeah. Man, I love being up here.
So as a kid growing up in Skullbone, Tennessee, were you, and coming from your stock with your family, being a kind of a family lineage type of business, were you, what were you into as a kid? Was it just work, or did you?
Man, when I was in junior high, I wanted to be an NBA basketball star.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice.
I was a little
So you're a basketball fan?
I used to be. Okay. Yeah, well, I actually am still. Now.
Yeah.
I love UT, man. And we got a great team.
Yes, we do. I think so.
No, but that was just, I just now looking back, I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like a little white dude running around trying to
Yeah.
Man. And I wasn't even that quick.
Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah.
I'm going to the NBA. You know what I mean? No,
that's great. No, that's great.
I felt the same thing. I lived this same thing.
Yeah, I think everybody has a little bit of a story.
At one time, I was really good. I was just.
So both of you grew up delusional.
That's exactly
right.
Right. But then we started playing music.
Yeah, there you go.
So maintain delusion.
Yeah, and you're like, oh man, if I could just make as much money as Madonna, I'll be set. Or I'll get one song, somebody record one song, man, I'll be good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, delusional.
Yeah.
Well, so who was being a basketball fan? Who was your guy? Who was there anybody you
not really
picked out that you had a favorite player?
No, not really. Back then though, it was like Memphis State, which was called Memphis State then. It was like Memphis University.
Yeah,
oh man, I can't remember some of those guys' names, but they were really good when I was.
Oh yeah, so, for sure.
That was kind of that's what I kept up with.
Yeah.
Memphis State basketball.
So not so much NBA. It was always the college game.
Well, I liked the Celtics when I was a kid.
Yeah,
totally.
Well, who didn't?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everybody.
For those of you who didn't see that point, there's a Celtics neon in here in the hockey.
Absolutely.
Right across from Larry Legend up there, taking the three with the Techniques sign on the background from the Garden.
Sweet.
Along with. And then my favorite one is Dr. J over there in the corner. He's got he's got the lab coat on, and it says the doctor's always in, and he's dunking.
Yeah, he was definitely one.
Yeah.
I think I saw or actually saw it live when what's his name, Daryl Dawkins.
Mm-hmm.
When he actually smashed that backboard.
Chocolate Thunder.
Thunder. I saw it when it happened. That was I wouldn't say it changed my life, but it definitely made me go,
Yeah. So, man, those Sixer teams back in the day were great. Mm-hmm. You had Dawkins, Moses Malone.
Yes, I remember.
Dr. J, Maurice
Cheeks.
Ooh,
and the ugliest white man to ever play basketball, Bobby Jones. You remember him?
Yep.
he looked like he had fell out of an ugly tree and hit every ugly limb and landed on the ugly ground. And then somebody come up with an ugly basketball and hit him in the face with it.
He fell out of that tree, fell on Norval Felts.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
well, I was a Sixers fan before I was a Celtics fan because of Dr. J.
You know what? That makes sense.
I mean,
wasn't there a guard, Andrew Toney? Wasn't that a guard?
Yeah, he was a guard on the team. I don't know at what. I don't think I don't know. I don't know if they were in that first wave of Philly, with the championship and all that or not.
From 80
but that
to
sounds
88,
right.
80 to 88, Andrew Toney. Maurice Cheeks, Andrew Toney.
Yeah.
Moses Malone, Dr. J, and I forget who Bobby Jones, I guess. But
I think he might have been later, too.
This was pre-Barkley.
In there with Dawkins and all that.
And that was before Barkley came.
Yeah.
Oh, when you said Bobby Jones, I don't remember him at all, but I just do want to give like a shout out to, I did, Bob Knight. He just passed, yesterday, day before?
Yeah.
Yeah, 83 years old.
Man, he left an impression on my mind big time.
Yeah. Did you realize he was 6'5"?
No.
No,
I think that's what they said. He was 6'5".
I know when you sent me that text, I just, I got a chair and thrown it across the yard. Say, all right, Godspeed, Coach Knight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I watched some things yesterday on from the Dan Patrick show. They had on Steve Alford. Alfred. I can't remember, but he was from that national championship team in the early '80s, point guard, and he was telling some Bobby Knight stories. And one of them, this is really funny. So he was just talking about Knight being such a, he was the coach that wanted you to have composure and maturity, and he had none of it.
Yeah.
But, and this came from him. I'm not I'm not trying to sling no shade at Bobby Knight for no reason, but Alford was saying, he said I can't remember, it might have been maybe his junior year or whatever it was, but one of the sororities had came to him and asked him to pose in a calendar, and he was going to be Mr. February. And what it was for was it was raising funds. It was raising funds for mentally handicapped kids to get to go to summer camp. It was part of the sororities, one of the things that they were doing. Well, he didn't ask. He just said because he thought it was doing the right thing. Helping underprivileged and mentally handicapped kids, And
it was sorority.
And the sorority.
Yeah.
So he went and did it. Well, he got in trouble with the NCAA. Something, I can't remember exactly what it was. You can find it online on YouTube, on the Dan Patrick show. But at any rate, he gets in trouble, and they've got a game to play, and he gets suspended.
Oh, no.
So that was one thing with Knight was, didn't matter if you were Mr. Everything, which Steve Alford was, and he was the heart and soul of the team, the point guard, everything about Indiana basketball at the time. And it doesn't matter. You're out. You're riding a pine.
Yeah.
You're not bigger than,
in the rules.
Yeah. So he asked one of the assistant coaches, he said, hey, I know we got this game coming up. He's like, do I stay at home? Do I get on the bus? Do I go? What do I? And the assistant coach said, yeah, if I was you, I'd be on that bus. So I'm kind of thinking, well, that sounds kind of weird. Okay, whatever. So he goes on with the story, and he says, yeah, I get on the bus, and we get 20 minutes outside of the university to the airport, 20 or 25 minutes, whatever it was, off the bus. And they're getting off the bus to get on a plane to go to wherever they're playing. And Coach Knight's out there, and he's slapping everybody on the back as they get off the bus and saying, going to need you tonight, need you to box out. All right, come on, the next guy, you're really going to have to spread the ball around tonight, and a little thing for each player, and the slap on the back as each one of them exit the bus, and Alfred comes off the bus last, and he just grabs him by the trench coat, and and slams him up against the side of the bus. And he goes, "What the hell are you doing here?" He goes, "Well, I didn't know what to do." He's like, "You're not on this team tonight. You thought you were better than everybody. You thought you were bigger than the rules." He said, "Best thing for you to do is get your ass back to school."
I love it. I love it.
And he's like, "Well, and he said, about that time, the bus door's closed and it pulls off."
Oh, he got oil spotted.
And he had to walk all the way back to campus. He said, "I'm walking for about 10 minutes. He said, "It's cold." He said, "We've all got our trench coats on, our long handles and everything." He said, about 10 minutes later, the driver comes by in the bus and says, "Well, looks like you could use a ride." And he was like, "Yeah, I could use a ride." So the bus driver felt sorry for him and picked him up. But he said that was Coach Knight.
I never heard that story, but I love that.
I had never heard it either.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But so you're a big basketball fan in a university.
I wouldn't say that. I was a big basketball fan in maybe the 80s, but now.
Well, that's kind of what I meant.
Yeah, not so much. Other than I'm really fired up about the team this year.
Yeah,
UT.
I'm a Barnes guy. I like Barnes.
I love
Barnes. It. I know some of my buddies were like, "Oh man, this guy, he can't win," and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Well, is that a Tennessee thing, or are people from Tennessee like, "Well, you lost one game that you probably should have won. Fire him on any sport."
Yeah.
And it's like, I do not agree with that.
It's the second best UT coaching hire in history.
I believe
any sport.
Yeah.
And the only reason the first one is a little better is that we hired Johnny Majors the year after he won a national championship. Now, forget what he did after that, but if you hire the guy that just won a national title, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
But Rick Barnes, second best hire we've ever had, and look what he's done over here, man. I mean, if it had been me, I would have hired Pearl back without even looking.
Oh, I love Pearl, boy.
But I'll say this, he's made me want to watch Tennessee basketball again.
Yep, I agree.
And he's an old school dude too, man.
Well, yes. I think he did his best coaching job since he's been here. He did it last year.
I agree.
He worked with less injuries all year long, shuffling people around.
Went into the tournament without Ziegler.
Players that couldn't be consistent from one night to the next. One night they shoot the lights out of it, and the next night they don't know how to throw it in the fucking ocean.
Don't
seem like. Obviously, I'm embellishing that, but I think it is something with Knoxville and UT sports fans. They drink that big orange Kool-Aid, dude, and lose their goddamn minds half the time.
It just blows my mind, and nothing against any UT fans whatsoever. We all want to win. We all want
Sure, absolutely.
But you got to be a little bit patient and let some programs build, which Rick Barnes has done.
Yeah.
Now people want to play basketball for him now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're relevant all year round now.
Yeah. That's right.
You got basketball that's relevant. Lady Vols has always been relevant.
Mm-hmm. As a softball team too.
Yes, as a softball team.
Baseball. I mean, pretty much everything.
Yeah, baseball, football. Well, Jamie and I have talked about this, and I'll ask you, but I don't know if you know this or not, and I don't know if we've ever actually said it on the podcast or not, but there's two universities in the history of the NCAA who have ever won a national championship in football, that have been ranked number one in football, baseball, men's basketball, women's basketball, and softball. Now, not at the same time.
I was about to ask. Yeah.
Not at the same time, but just in the history of the NCAA.
Well, let's see if he can guess who they are.
And there's two.
Yeah, jeez, I can't guess that.
Whatever.
All right, okay, all right.
If you go out of the context of what we just been talking about,
that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
You'll get one of them.
I got no idea.
Yeah.
Well,
University of Tennessee and the University of Texas.
That's what I was getting at. Barnes came from Texas.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, yeah, that's true.
Oh, my God, Jamie. Those are good hints.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and now they're both in the SEC.
Yeah.
Coming up.
But I think right now, I think the university and the athletic program is at a better place than it's been in so long.
Maybe
and
ever.
across the board.
Across the board.
Ever.
Yeah.
I
think
would
it's a
say
better
so.
time to be a UT fan right now than it's ever been. In my
Absolutely.
lifetime. In my lifetime.
I agree.
Well, you know, the first football game I ever went to was in 1977. I was 6 years old, and we played Duke and got beat. And then you know, like 8-3. I mean, that was a great year for us back in the day. I mean, people lose their mind.
That was in 77?
Yeah.
Was that Spurrier?
It may.
Because Spurrier beat us when he was at Duke. But I was at a Duke game where we lost, but it wasn't 77. I don't know.
Lord.
We used to play, and there was about a 5 or 6 year stretch there. We played them every year.
But my first, I don't think it was that one, but my first football game was also a Duke Tennessee game, and we lost.
Really?
Yeah.
And I think it was in the early 80s, 83 or 4, something.
My first and only in the stadium game was, I want to say, 86 Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the quarterback? I can't remember who the quarterback was. I mean,
For us or them?
For us.
It was Dickey, wasn't it? Or Tony Robinson?
No, it wasn't Robinson, too. He was gone.
Yeah, that's right. 85
Jeff Francis.
I don't know. It's like, I'm hoping you guys will ring some bells.
Dickey or Francis?
Was there a Kelly? Did we ever have a Kelly as a quarterback?
Later on, he was in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Andy Kelly.
Okay, yeah, that was.
Andy
you're
Kelly.
right. That's
It went. Robinson got hurt. Dickey played. Came in, and he might have played the next year. And then it was the Jeff Francis era. I'll look at.
Okay, look at it. That's the only game I've been in the stadium at was Georgia Tech, which evidently, I mean, we used to play all the time. We don't.
They used to be in the SEC.
Yeah,
years
that's
ago.
right.
What are they, ACC now? I don't
Yeah.
ACC, yeah. The Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. Well, so, you know, a Memphis fan, growing up pretty close out there.
Oh, yeah.
What led you down the music road? Was Memphis also responsible for that?
Not really. My dad was.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. My dad was a really good guitar player.
Okay.
Now, that being said, he'd go out and, you know, cut timber all day long and then come back and drink a bunch of whiskey and play guitar.
Right.
He's a really good lead player. So when I was pretty young, he just taught me, you know, just the blues progressions.
Right.
Jeff Francis, not to interrupt.
Okay.
And we lost that game.
Okay. Well,
13-13.
Yeah. Sounds about
oh my
right.
God. Well, okay. Yeah. I just remember being there. I don't remember anything else.
Well, I didn't remember it. I looked it up. back to your dad.
My dad. Yeah. So he's a really good guitar player.
Yeah.
I mean, huge Ventures fan. He could play all that stuff.
Okay. I was getting ready to ask what style was his.
Yeah.
his
He's
thing.
like any of that. I mean, loved Creedence Clearwater.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's like,
Okay.
So basically, I didn't know it then, but now I know. It's like, you know, maybe I was 13, 14 or whatever. Show me a couple of chords. Like, he just wanted a rhythm dude so he could play lead over.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So he did that, and I'm still not a very good guitar player. So somewhere in between there, it's like, you know, I started writing songs. I mean, somewhere probably
Right.
16, 17, 18, something like that.
Would you say your dad was the biggest influence on musically?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like the same with my dad. My dad was a
Really?
player, and my brother, my dad and my brother. My brother didn't play anything, but he was a great, probably the best singer I ever heard. You know, I mean,
Man,
he was
He's
good.
all over YouTube too. You want to watch it?
Yeah.
King-
Oh, really?
I seen him
From back in the day?
Kingdom Heirs.
Nice. I'll have to check some of those out.
Yeah, I like to see that.
He was their lead.
Yeah, he was the lead singer.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, that was kind
I
of.
don't think he's better than you.
oh
I think-
well,
I mean, it's
appreciate
different.
that.
You're different.
Yeah.
Different things. But
There-
anyway,
there's no better or worse. It's all different. I mean,
well, yes, but this new shit sucks. But
okay, there's a couple of actually shining moments in a few things that I've heard.
Well, I want to hear
not
that.
a lot. Not a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to hear.
Not a lot.
Well, so your dad being your biggest musical influence, did he? Did you? So you played with him. You did the thing. You learned some rhythm. Did you go out on your own then, or did you start trying to find buddies, or just were you a late bloomer, or how did all that get started?
Yeah, I was totally a late bloomer.
Yeah, I was too.
I mean, yeah, we went out. I played with cover bands or whatever in West Tennessee. And every once in a while I was like, okay, I learned this. Probably at the time, like, I learned this Billy Idol song for you. Do you mind if I do one of my songs? I'm like, yeah, sure, get in there. My dad was more of like, it's one of those deals. Once I got asked to come up and play with the V-Roys.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell yeah, I'll move up here. One of his deals was later on down the road, is like, well, make any money? Got insurance? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All dads do that, like, yeah, I'm trying
Especially
to do some
that
art.
era of dads.
Yeah.
They were from that no risk.
Absolutely.
That no risk culture.
Risk.
There was no risk.
Now, that being said, one of my favorite things that keeps me going today is right after my dad died. It's been a while now. It's been about 10 years ago. My mom told me, even though he'd bitch at me all the time.
Oh, he's probably proud as hell.
Well, that's what she said.
Yeah.
She said, I wished I'd have done what he done.
Yeah.
Because he was way better than me.
Yeah.
But he stayed at home, did what he's supposed to, made money, and had a business. But
that's so funny. Same exact thing with my dad. My dad would go to the Kaz Walker show, and would go to Nashville. I didn't know this, but he'd played on the Opry.
Really?
Yeah, not as like an artist, but as, they needed a rhythm guy one night, and shit like that. Yeah. And it was like pulling fucking teeth to get him to talk about stuff like that, and I didn't know it till he was dead and gone, about the Opry thing.
Wow. I don't know why the old folks would do that. Like, it's almost like being in Vietnam or whatever. It's like, well, I know he was there, but he ain't going to talk about it. It's like, no, man, you were just playing guitar. I would like to know what you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for years, so I've asked several people this question, and I want to find out from you too. But we'll keep getting into it. But your dad? There was music in the house, but it was coming from Dad.
Pretty much. I mean,
did you guys play the radio? Was there?
He had a great record collection.
Okay, all right.
So we were LPs all over.
Yeah.
Which sucks because after he died, God bless my mom, they took that record player and set it out on the back porch. And it just disintegrated. It got wet and everything. It was like, that was a good record player. Somebody, as they do, stole a lot of his LPs. I have some of his LPs, but I mean, it was all vinyl is what I listened to.
But kind of all over the board, like you were saying, from Creedence to.
I will tell you this, and he told me this, and I love this. I think it's a great story.
Okay.
He told me that he found a record walking down the side of the highway from, I don't know whose house to whose house, but on the side of a highway, he found a little 45 record. It was Lightning Slim.
Okay.
Bedbug Blues.
Wow.
And he said he took that record when he was a kid, and that's how he learned to play guitar.
Oh, wow.
And dude, he just had one of those ears. He was just, I had to go like, all right, hey, Freddie, I'm going to hit this in a G. And it was like, what? Start playing it, and it's like, but that was like, I remember that. And I think we still have that little 45 Lightning Slim record.
Yeah.
You got to frame
How
that.
cool is
put
that?
It up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's pretty awesome. I mean, I I didn't know it then, but now thinking back, it's like, man, that's a pretty awesome story. It's like, that's how you learn how to play guitar?
Yeah. My dad was self-taught, had no, he's just like, I just went out and I got it. He lived in, his family were sharecroppers. So they was moved around a lot. And they were living out off of like, Black Oak Ridge kind of area, Halls.
Yep, I know.
Taylor Gap, all that stuff. And he walked from there to downtown and bought a guitar from like the Woolworths or whatever. I don't know what it was from, but we'll say Woolworths for the sake of the story. Got it tuned while he was there from a street performer. Walked back, and he was just like, I just went out in the woods and banged on it till it sounded good, Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this.
And he didn't show me shit. He just like, well, I'll show you. I say that. He'd show me a couple of chords.
Yeah.
But that was it.
And like my dad wasn't showing me stuff to like, hey, I want you to be really good guitar player. He's like, I just need a rhythm guy.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, I would hear songs after I got a little older and kind of got really. Banjo's my first instrument. So I played three-fingered Scruggs style banjo and took some lessons on it and then decided that wasn't cool, because I couldn't ever sing and do stuff. And I was kind of figured out that I could sing.
You can definitely sing.
So I started doing like guitar and stuff. But I'd hear these songs as I got older, and I'm talking like 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 years old. And I remember one that it was a shit. Now, as soon as I've said that, I went blank. It was a come on, brain, you can do it.
Get in there, brain.
Stonewall Jackson.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And as I washed my hands in the muddy water. Well, I heard that one day, like on DVX or wherever the hell I heard it, but I heard it and I was like, oh, wow. I just always thought it was one of my dad's songs. I didn't know.
See, yes.
I never knew because that's the only guy I ever heard it from, And so then I'd come home and I'd ask him, I'd say like, yeah, you do that. I heard that Stonewall Jackson song today, the Muddy Water. Oh yeah, is that who did that? And I don't know if he's just whatever or not. I don't know if it was a rub or if it was a ruse or what.
I think you probably never know that because I don't know if it is either.
Yeah.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah. But so yeah, we've a lot of similarities and a lot of folks that we've had on, we've got to talk to, and I was telling you this too, but we've known each other, we've shared the stage together, we've played on bills together, but if you're at a bar, you only go through, you've got the bar conversation, then you got the so-and-so conversation, and then people's coming up, we don't ever get to talk.
No, you're right about that.
Like to know things, but I would never would have known that we had, just the stuff in common, like with our dads and stuff.
Well, and I just want to say this real quick because you just made me think of it when you talked about Stonewall Jackson. Mm-hmm. The first song I ever remembering was Johnny Horton, Battle in New Orleans.
Right. Okay.
And because my dad had that record, and he loved Johnny Horton.
Oh so yeah, he's like a big deal back in the day.
I mean, I just remember that military beat. Anyway, I just wanted to say that because that goes way the hell back right there,
Mm-hmm. Well, so you get in a few cover bands or whatever. What are you, a teenager at this time?
My first cover band, I was a freshman in high school.
Okay, so wow.
And we had a little Mexican fella who, Bobby Trejo, and he ended up going to MIT.
Wow.
And he sung AC/DC stuff because he could scream.
Yeah.
And it didn't sound good, but he could at least, none of us could do it.
Right.
So we did a lot of AC/DC and Judas Priest and stuff like that. Early 80s, that's what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And you just cover bands from then on, somewhere.
Unless you were a total geek and you played banjo. You see what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
That's where I was thinking.
And I evolved. I can't play banjo to this day, but I evolved to that type of music more.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But in the beginning, it's like, let's just be loud.
Make some racket.
Yeah. So I would say, about a freshman in high school, that's when I do remember this. So young, we played a talent show in Atwood, Tennessee.
Oh, shit.
Bobby Trejo was singing.
Yeah.
I was playing rhythm guitar, and somehow can I cuss on this thing? I fucked my damn finger up, and I couldn't hold a pick. So I had a pick glued and taped to my finger.
Oh, wow.
And we played Breaking the Law. Oh, that's funny.
So you were saying, okay, I learned this Billy Idol song. Can I play one of my songs? So you had that desire even way back then.
I had songs.
See, I was way down the line before I ever
I've been
right.
I mean, probably, I would say early on, I had this big, thick songbook of Eagles songs.
Okay.
And I liked it because I'm not a big fan of the Eagles, but they were easy chords, big old cowboy chords. I could do that. And then after that, it's like I figured out I'm not a really good guitar player, but, let's start writing some stories and trying to figure some stuff out. And I probably started doing that when I was 15 or 16.
Right.
Just, just trying to figure out how to write stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you know, writing, a lot of people think it's easy. It ain't that fucking easy.
Man, no, there's sometimes you're like, I don't know. I do a lot of baseball analogies, but it's like some days you can't miss one.
Yeah.
And some days they're just pouring out. It's like they're in the air. You just reach up and grab them.
Man. There's some days it's like, I'm going to hit a G, the G that I've hit for my whole life.
Yeah.
And then there'll be some melody comes right out and the lyrics come out, at least for a verse.
Yeah. Get you started.
Yeah. And then there'll be like days like, man, today I'm going to write a song.
Yeah.
And you can do everything in the gut. Can I cuss on this thing a lot?
Have you not been listening to me fucking cuss since we started?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, now I feel like really.
Yeah, dude.
I feel really local.
Hey, man, you're in the honky tonk. You do. Ain't no rules here.
Anyway, because I do cuss a lot. There'll be like no fucking way that you can all right, today I'm writing a song. I have an idea. I got everything. I got the key I want it to be in, whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't do fucking shit.
Yeah.
You can't even come up with two words that go together.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, there'll be some days it's like it just falls out of your ass. Like, well, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been in one of those spells lately. I mean, still to this day, it's like I'm writing on a couple of Christmas tunes, but it seems to me like it'd be just about as easy for me to go out here in the backyard and build a goddamn rocket ship than it would be to write a song.
Yes. Depending on which day it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on the day, of course.
And, you said this the other day on another episode.
Oh,
we
shit.
were talking about this.
You want to bring that up?
Well, I'm not really a songwriter. I have, but I'm a writer, books, that shit. And I study a lot of the craft of writing and the craft of music and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing about it, man, you got to get out of your own damn way with it. And these guys, I guess it applies to lyricists as well. But like these novelists, and this is my biggest issue, is I want the shit to be perfect immediately. And listen, all of them, from the greatest, even from Cormac McCarthy himself, or Stephen King, and all these guys that are like, Stephen King gets this. Oh, well, he's an entertainment writer. Some bitch is really good. He's a talent. He's talented as hell. And plus, what he has to say about the craft is dead nuts on the money. But here's the thing. They're like, look, whatever you write down to me first is going to suck.
Yeah.
And we're talking about people, like King, I don't know how many.
World renowned.
Yeah. I mean, and you read Cormac McCarthy's stuff. I mean, the son of a bitch doesn't use punctuation. He's so good.
Yeah.
It's like periods. That's it. That's all he uses.
Yeah.
No quotation marks for dialogue. And you read it and you're like, how do you get to become a wizard like that? And you said it the other day. It's like, talent don't mean shit.
It's a bonus.
It's a bonus. It's effort 100% of the time. And, if you have talent, the people that really change the world in all their fields, music and all that, they have talent with a work ethic that is just unstoppable,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I mean, absolutely. And the thing is, like all the authors you talk about, like, it's like, and I guarantee you they'd say the same thing. It's like, going through the process. It's like, I have this story. I got this thing going on. Make it sound real. Make it sound like we're talking here today.
Yeah.
And that's the best storytellers in the world. When you don't even realize that they're like writing a story, they're just like talking.
Yeah.
Like my grandma was just talking, but that's a middle-aged white dude just wrote what my grandma was going to say.
Yeah.
There's like, oh man, I can't remember what the quote was, but it was really good. I want to say it was, I can't remember who it was. Basically, it was a professional actor talking to a dude that was just about to go on and do a scene or whatever. And his advice to him was like, go up there and do it like you're not acting. You know what I mean? That's kind of the same way with writing songs or stories or anything. But it does take a lot of time. I think you can come up with it real quick, like, here's the deal. But if you want to like refine it, it's a little work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You very seldom get that one that's that 10-minute song, and you do get them every once in a while. But then there's others, I've got one that I wrote and we play it all the time, called True Story. And I had 2 verses, a chorus, and a bridge for it, but never could figure out how to end it.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to get out of it.
Yep.
And it was all because I hadn't lived through that part of it yet. Because it was my story. And then all of a sudden,
wait for that story to actually happen. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one day, I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, well, that's where it goes. And I just wrote it out with like in a couple minutes. It was done.
Well, that's the deal. It's like
that was like now, 3 years later.
Absolutely. Right now, I have like about 10 songs that we're working on for a new record, and there's a whole lot of things hopefully going to happen with this. But some of those songs are at least 3 years old.
Yeah,
and they were like, okay, the chorus is good. I've rewritten the choruses like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, all right, here's the story. Here's what is happening. But I can't finish it, just like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then that's evolved to like, and you can't rush that shit.
No.
You can't go like, I'm going to like finish this song tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got to like let it grow.
Yeah. You can, but it's not going to be what you want.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where I'm at right now. I want every song to be at the top of its potential.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I'm getting at is that these guys and gals that write novels and stuff, and even people that, they got these songwriting labs in Nashville where they turn out songs all the time, whatever. And we've got a mutual friend that seems like he records a damn album a week. I had never seen nothing like it. But either way, I think that being a musician or being an artist, you get this perfectionism mentality.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, it's better to be prolific than perfect.
I think so.
So, because if you're prolific, you're going to get as perfect as you possibly can with repetition and churning out shit. It's like Dolly Parton. She's like, I've read this many times. She writes a song a day still.
Hello, music lovers. Campbell's Music Room Guitars was opened and founded by our longtime friend Kyle Campbell back in 2017. If you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, you're always needing something. From strings, picks, or maybe a repair to your trusty instrument. Campbell's Music Room Guitars has a full line of all the stringed instruments. New and pre-owned, accessories, pedals, amplifiers, and here's the best part. It's a local, family-owned business where you will get the very best of sales and service from the owner himself. Campbell's Music Room Guitars has something for everyone. Did we mention that he also gives private lessons? Kyle is one of Knoxville's most multi-talented players and teachers with many years of professional teaching experience. Located at 5103 Kingston Pike, open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Give Kyle a call at 865-584-0041 or stop by and tell him McGill and Jamie sent you and you wanted to have one more for the good guys. Yeah, so, and I think the biggest thing with the songwriter thing and writers in general, and I've said this before too, is, you know, a lot of that block, a lot of that difficulty, a lot of that stuff comes from that wanting that perfectionism. I mean, if we had to sit around and continue to talk about this podcast anymore, we would have never done it.
That's right.
We would have been caught up on the details of what's it supposed to be? Are we supposed to do spots? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Instead of just, and then finally we got to the point, I was just like, man, we just got to roll tape and it'll tell us what we're going to do.
And that goes over everything, man. It's like sometimes it's like, hey, here's a good idea. Don't sit around and nut and bolt the whole fucking thing. Just like, the only way to do it is do it.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's like,
and get it out. That was where I was going with all that. It's got to get out. You got to make room
for the idea to come in. It's like your noggin can only hold so much.
Yeah.
You know, it's like playing an instrument. If I had started out day one and thought, you know what, I really want to play this Rachmaninoff shit. Well, you get there. Yeah. But I played Mary Had a Little Lamb for a while.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we approach that kind of art, writing, with the same, you know, it's like, okay, I have to have a finished product up front here. And one thing that really, and I guess the older I get, the lazier I get about writing, is all these motherfuckers talk about my first draft. I'm like, Jesus Christ, how many drafts did you write? You wrote 5 drafts? I'm just trying to get one. You know, and I'm thinking, my God, I got to rewrite this shit. With songs, you know, obviously the length's shorter. But if we would approach it like we do learning an instrument or something like that, to where you just, you get it down. You get those calluses built up until you are proficient at that. And we approach it like, oh, we got to wait till the moon is right and all this shit. And obviously good days you have.
Well, and I got to have 3 verses. I got to have a chorus.
Yeah.
I got to have a bridge.
And that's the thing. You don't. No.
You don't.
And it goes back to like, you know, to Dolly, actually. It's like, she writes every day. I guarantee you everything. It's like exercising. Yeah. You know, if you're a songwriter, it's exercise.
Yeah.
And you're talking about somebody that's worth, you know, $700 million or something like that. Still got enough fortitude to say, okay, this is what I do.
But, you know, the thing is, and I guarantee it, for somebody sitting in a trailer somewhere that has that same drive, she would say the same thing, just write every day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Write every day.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. How much harder is it to write every day when you've already done everything? Dolly Parton.
But that's almost like saying, like, all right, I mean, she's got to do it. That's her.
Right. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's her makeup.
Yeah.
That's who she is, not what she does.
Yeah. Right. She has to do it.
Right. So that's.
And I love that so much.
I just think that these people, out in Nashville that they put in a room and they team up with somebody they just met and they're like, okay, we're going to write a song. What's their job? Right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And that's a whole different kind of cat.
Yeah. And
animal.
But at the same time, it's okay. They get it done. And obviously every song that they write's not a number one. Cause if you wrote 2 or 3 in a row, you're like, fuck, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep these, so
I seen an interview, the other night on, with, I can't remember what it was. Fuck. Was it 60 Minutes or the Today Show or whatever the hell it was, but it was on it. Yeah. 33 and a half minutes. 6 minutes. Hey, I got to tell you. I can't remember what it was now, but at any rate, it was an interview and it was with Chris Stapleton and he was talking about the new record he's got coming out. And the lead track, he was like, I wrote it 15 years ago. And it was just never the right time to bring it out. He's like, but now he's like, my wife always told me, she said, what about so-and-so? I don't know. I can't, and so time would go by and she'd always be like, well, that so-and-so song, you shouldn't think about it. And I don't know. It's got its place and
That is so awesome because I played in a band with a guy that was like, well, if you didn't use that song on the last record, the demo, so that must mean something. Like it's not worth playing.
Right.
They're like, it's not at all.
No.
It's like, it's just like you said. It's like, it's not the right time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're rocking along and you're starting to write songs. Did you just always feel like you had something to say or were there someone, that led you down that road?
No, nobody ever like, hey, you need to like write stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said that. It's just like, just listen to music stuff. I always just had a thing for writing.
Right.
Or telling stories basically.
Okay.
Even if and absolutely short stories.
Uh-huh.
Not like, writing whole novels or anything like that, but short stories just telling. And it really was one of those things that I'm a big history fan.
Me too.
And so I put a record out, I want to say that was 2003 called Paul Bear's Shoes. Every song on that record is a song about one of my family members.
Mm.
And it was just a little tiny history. It's almost like, I don't want to go down this road, but I'm going to. When folks die, a generation after that, nobody knows who the hell you are.
Right. No.
You're forgotten.
That's right.
Nobody knows.
Hell, 3 days after that.
Right. Basically. Nobody gives a shit.
Yep.
And I thought I'd write this record about some of my family members and there might be some dummy that'll pay whatever, maybe in the future credits or whatever, and listen to that record and go okay, I understand the story about my great grandmother or blah, blah, blah. And I really enjoyed doing that. And I like writing stories about, people I know.
Did that come from maybe, because we were talking before we started rolling about your dad always had guys around that were builders or this guy or that guy, people that knew how to do things in the community that was also patrons or whatever. Did that come from sitting around and hearing those
part of it?
Things?
Part of it did, but it's also one of those deals is just being around characters.
Yeah.
And there's characters in your life.
Yeah, for sure.
When people, I don't know, I can't think. Who's the guy from Mississippi? I can't think. I've been drinking. That I love so much.
There's a lot of those guys.
Arthur.
Character-wise, was he a writer, singer, musician?
No, writer.
Faulkner.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, he's great with characters. And I see all these characters. I don't get them all in the songs, obviously, because I'm not him. But I like that idea.
Yeah.
Of just having some of these characters show up in some of these songs. And to me, that's fun.
Right.
I obviously nobody gives a shit. I don't like, but I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because, I think that's the perfect way to describe it is that my goodness, from being a young man, all the different shit we've done. Take the music business and throw it out the window.
Yes.
Just the guys you were on a job with, that job you fucking hated, know?
I don't know about you.
Had that one guy that came in and said something that was so outlandish and or horribly racist or anything else.
Up to this point right now, I feel like I've lived 3 different lives.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, just like your young life when you're in school. We're talking about things earlier.
Sure.
Then my early work life with my dad, and then my band life.
Yeah.
Living up here.
Yeah.
And I hope there's a 4th life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, I hope so. But I guess.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, we want to, regardless of all the stuff you've heard and you've heard me say and the things you probably heard other people say that I've said. Yeah, we want to keep you around a while, Mick. Come on.
But you know what? I think everybody's like that.
Yeah.
They've got, well, maybe it's not 3 or 4 lives, but
yeah,
there's different stages in everybody's life.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, and I feel very fortunate that I can play guitar, even not very good. I can write songs, and I'm kind of trying to document that as I go.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great thing. So you're writing a few songs, you're in some cover bands, you're a young man, 14, you're getting on up there later in teenage years. What in the world, how did you get to Knoxville? What happened? What was the deal? I know all like the large print stuff about you and here and Scott and V-Roys and da-da-da-da-da, but I was in another world doing other things, and I didn't know
that's super
the pulse about town,
Jeff Bills, y'all know Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
He came up here to go to college.
Okay.
And while he was up here, it was like, he would send me back in the day, like cassettes.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
Todd Steed, Smoking Dave, and like,
okay.
Jesus Chrysler, all this kind of crazy stuff coming out of like Knoxville, which in West Tennessee, maybe in Memphis it might have been different, but
right.
in rural West Tennessee,
yeah,
it's like, I never heard anything like it.
Right.
And so me and him, we were friends like in high school.
Yeah.
He graduated the same year I did. Greenfield, Bradford. And when your boy, I shouldn't probably say his name on air. I'm not going to.
It's our podcast.
Okay. Yeah. Well, when he quit the band, they needed a replacement and they wanted a songwriter. They didn't want a hot picker.
Okay.
Thank God. But they want a songwriter. So Jeff called me up and was like, would you be willing to move to Knoxville, Tennessee? We're about to get signed on a record label and play in our band. And talked to Mandy, my wife, and I was like, hell yeah.
Now, just real quick, you and Mandy, were y'all like high school sweethearts? Did she grow up there, or how long have y'all been married?
She's a California girl.
Okay,
I was a lucky West Tennessee man to get a California girl.
There you go. Okay,
we were married about 2 years before we moved up here.
Okay, all
right. She's ready to get the fuck out there too.
Right.
So yeah, Jeff Bills actually changed my life.
Wow.
Love him to death, always will. But yeah, came up and did the V-Roy thing till what was it? New Year's Eve, 2000.
Yeah.
And after that.
And coming from where you did to getting signed and then and hearing all this stuff come at you, what was it like for you? Was it just, was it night and day? Was it just like, holy cow, how'd this happen? Or let's go.
Yeah, it was let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go kind of deal. It's like,
yeah,
I was already in like cover bands. It's like, already trying to like do my songwriting shit in Nashville and Memphis and all this stuff. And not a lot of fun. Didn't have a whole lot of teammates. The cover band, that really comes back to the cover band stuff. It's like, all right, well, they really want to hear Magic Carpet Ride.
Yeah.
Well, after that, can I play one of my songs? And I sung all of them.
Right.
And I'm like, geez, yeah, I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. You know? So yeah, that was like, it's night and day. Basically.
Yeah. So you guys get signed. Who are you signed with?
Well, had you? I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt, but had you heard the V-Roys before? I mean, you were familiar with the stuff.
Absolutely, man. I mean,
so they were a part of these cassettes that were getting sent.
They would go back and forth. Okay. I already knew about oh man, I remember Big Harlan Taylor was that was the pre-name of the Viceroys.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was V-Roys by the time you joined,
yes.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. And the only reason that being is because there was a reggae band in Jamaica that was called the Viceroys, and they would not come up off that name.
Fucking great name, though.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cigarette brand, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, their first name was Big Harlan Taylor, a Roger Miller song. That's when JP was in that. And I knew all about all that stuff. I'd already come up and saw those guys play.
Yeah.
They were killer. They were drunker than I would ever be, though. I mean, that's it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But when they got signed with E Squared, Steve Earle, Jack Emerson's label, had to get a little serious.
Yeah.
It changed dynamics, and I was really happy to fill in the hole there.
Yeah, it was a different sound.
Mm-hmm.
I was young and dumb and didn't know it wasn't. You're talking about cover bands. That's something that's changed a lot here. Is that really in the early 90s, before you showed up, if you wanted to work, you had to play cover songs here.
Same way in West Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, because new country was out, and everybody wanted to hear it, and that's another episode. But I didn't know anything about the Viceroys, V-Roys, except through the people at Pick and Grin and whatever else. But I did know the Viceroys story about the reggae band. I don't know how I knew that, but anyway.
So I am unprivy to any of it. I got no shit.
Well, you weren't playing then, though, right?
No,
you hadn't started.
I was
playing.
a dad at 25, and
and
working every fucking job that you can imagine, and hated every fucking one of them.
See, you're saying everything that that's why I moved up here.
Yeah.
Because you're doing exactly what,
And then I'd sing at at a Christmas party, or I'd sing something at something or another, and somebody would hear me and they'd be like, damn, dude, you ought to be doing that for a living. And I mean, and I kind of knew that from school, because that's all I ever did in school was music. I mean, every elective that I could take. And after I beat a kid up, I didn't think I was going to graduate. And they let me do one more half a semester of an elective.
Give you a damn medal for hitting him with a trumpet. That right there.
No, I didn't hit him with a trumpet. I hit his trumpet while he was playing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It was much
I don't know the story.
It was much more brutal than hitting him with a trumpet. There was lots of blood and teeth.
Oh, really?
Teeth lost.
Trumpet blood?
Yeah, it was bad. We were doing a drill out on the marching on the driving range one day of.
So you're telling me now he's going to have to play flute?
No, he was eating soup for a long time. It was bad, Mick. I mean, got me a visit to the superintendent's office downtown and the whole deal.
Hoffmeister.
I love it.
But no, we're doing a drill. We're doing a drill on the driving range, and this kid's. We're doing these pinwheels, so we're coming one direction and they're coming the other, and we're working on our halftime show for the ball game coming up, the marching band. And come through, and as we meet, as our sections meet, the guy just spit at me and spit right in my face. You know, and I had that whole big circle to walk around and think about how I was going to fuck him up. Because I hadn't done nothing.
And by God, you're from mascot.
And I'm from fucking mascot, I guess. So when he came back around, you know, we're playing, doing our thing, trumpets up, you know, and I just reared back and hit the bell of that trumpet. And
you hit it straight in the bell?
I hit it straight in the bell and knocked 3 teeth out and blood everywhere. It was bad.
Oh, my God. That's like curbing something.
It was bad. It could have been really, really, really bad.
I bet it didn't spit anymore.
No, well, no.
I mean, fuck with you anymore either.
No. And I didn't ever understand it because, I mean, it wasn't like he was a big guy or somebody, you know, I mean.
Was there a beef before this?
Well, I was a section leader. I mean, I was first chair.
He's pissed off.
You know, he's better pissed off. And
I got you.
I'll probably put his head in the dirt a few times just fucking with him, you know, like you do underclassmen. You know,
I love this.
But I love
this story.
I was never like mean to people, you know. That was my biggest thing. I was never in a fight over somebody messing with me, maybe once or twice. It was always me taking up for somebody that couldn't help themselves, you know.
Except for that one trumpet incident.
Yeah,
the one that when the trumpet incident.
The trumpet incident of '89. That was the.
Oh, Lord. I cannot believe because I was in school then too. I didn't hear that story. They must have kept that one.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I got to do another semester, half a semester of handbells. So I took every music elective.
Fuck anybody up with handbells?
Yeah, I guess. Well, there's a lot there other than just that. But my mentor, our choral director, was just a genius and a gem of a man, and he knew. Well, you know, I wasn't doing something. I didn't just act out. There was something I had to provoke
you.
And the band director at the time, we were arch enemies. He hated me and I hated him. So it was his excuse to be able to get rid of me.
In your defense,
real
nobody liked him.
No, nobody liked him.
I knew that. But I wasn't in band.
But
because it was sissy.
That's sissy stuff.
I wish I'd have thought different. I wish I had been in band.
Yeah.
I would have played, I would tried to play trumpet probably. But anyway, back to your.
Yeah. Well, I don't know where I was going with any of that now. Oh, but I always knew that I was supposed to do something with music. But again, I just didn't ever. I might as well have been trying to build a rocket ship in the yard. I just wasn't, you know, and I thought, well, I'll be a teacher or something. And then,
you know, Mike,
I think was like, I don't know if you're.
I think there's probably so many people in history, like, you know, this is what I want to do, but this is what I have to do.
Oh, yeah.
And I never wanted to be like laying on my fucking dying bed.
Yeah.
Going like, well, if I'd just like, you know.
Yeah.
Did the Appalachian Trail. Or,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'd like to eat the worm or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, so I kind of moved down there because I was in a good spot, West Tennessee, money-wise.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if me and Mandy would have lasted over there, though, because she liked adventure. And
there's so much of that here.
Hey, man, if you live in West Tennessee, this is like being in fucking Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
But anyway, that being said, it's like, that's one of the best fucking things that ever happened to me was moving up here.
Yeah.
I have more friends, more lifelong, bonds that I'll ever have in my fucking life.
Right.
I can go back to West Tennessee every once in a while, get a barbecue and see my mom, and hell, that's enough.
Right.
Man, it's just like, and I feel like I am super fucking lucky.
Right.
You know, I got to play with the band for 5-6 years, the V-Roys, and do the deal. And then I got to play with Superdrag for a couple of years.
Yeah. So I'm getting there. So,
yeah, I was just like, man, I'm a pretty lucky guy, man.
Well, and part of that whole luck thing and part of your story is, and something I want to know is like, so you move up here, they've got a deal. Now you're like, not only are you doing it for a living, so you're a professional, but you really even have something to feel like and or base it off of now. Because now we got paperwork.
There's paperwork.
Yeah.
There's posters.
So out of that time, was there, or maybe not just out of that time, but is there a show or an event or something that's happened that you were just like, maybe caught you in some kind of surreal moment where you was just like, man, I'm really doing this, or this is really cool. How did I get here?
That's a good point. Because there's a thing out on YouTube right now. V-Roy's backing up Steve Earle at Farm Aid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's a pretty big deal.
But it was early on.
Sure.
And we went we went over and opened up for him and the Dukes over in England. That was all the shit was early.
Right.
And I'm sitting here going like, oh, fuck yeah, man. This is like starting out pretty good, man.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to get used to.
Right.
And I remember Steve Earle going like, don't get used to this. But yeah, that was like one of those.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Because he did make us, and he also broke us.
Yeah.
But the Farm Aid thing was like, I remember playing up there, and like, because one of my favorite songs. I love Steve Earle. Or loved him.
I was getting ready to say still. Yeah.
I mean, he's great. He's a great songwriter.
Of course.
You love Steve Earle, the artist.
Hey, very well put.
Yeah, thank you.
And you know what? If he'd ever talk to me, I might like him personally, but probably not. Anyway, I just remember before they started doing the actual filming for Farm Aid, it's like you could hear the people. Like, I've never heard so much feedback. Like it hit you in your chest.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And you could feel it. And we're sitting there and I'm playing like damn guitar on Copperhead Road, which is one of the things that's like, man, it's like one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
So I feel very fucking lucky.
Yeah.
To get to do that. Now, there's things that I wish would have been better.
Sure.
And I'm mad. I know at one point there was Steve Earle thought I was going to whoop his ass because I said it.
Yeah.
And but now, no, man, he did us solid all day long.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. He's a great songwriter. He's had a lot of loss. Justin was a great dude. Justin was in the recording sessions, at least when he was a little kid, when we were doing, I want to say both records,
really?
Just Add Eyes and All About Town. Justin was there.
Uh-huh.
Where were those recorded?
They were recorded at, it was Ray Kennedy's studio. Room and Board was the name of the studio. It was on Music Row. And actually, I am about to talk to Ray about doing some more recording. I'm making this full circle. I got some really good new songs, and I want to go back with Ray. Because you know what? I don't know who was the main producer out of the Twain Trust, Steve Earle and Ray. But Ray's done so much good production. And I want to get with him again. He's a really, really good producer.
Well, let's get there.
One thing I want to interject and say here is that we have had two people in that chair that have played at Farm Aid.
That's true, yeah.
Who was the other one?
Mark Dunn with George Jones.
Oh, my God, I love Mark Dunn. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Mark Dunn was our first guest.
Mark Dunn is awesome.
Yeah, he's there's a character.
Yeah, he's great. I love
him. Character.
George Jones, right? What era was he playing with George?
He played in 80 to 7 years.
7, I think.
86, 80 to 80, yeah.
Me and Mark.
They played that was the first Farm Aid.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that is iconic.
Yeah.
And who else came out and sang with him? He said it was somebody else came out and sang. I don't know if it's Haggard or no. I guess Willie maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it was Willie.
That is we're working on getting that finalized now. That is the episode number 1, Mark Dunn.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, I love him. He's a good dude. We've talked quite a bit.
Yeah,
he is a really character and a story. You talk about storytellers now.
And he's a great drummer.
Oh, yeah. But storyteller, listen.
No. Hell no. Michael. Now, Michael.
I was mixing.
Are you going to let me finish this son bitch, or are you going to keep talking?
And he brings his dog with him?
No, not that night.
Man, I was listening to it today, and he did that very thing.
Yeah.
He was talking about something, and you kept you were yelling how they go back and forth. And I just sit here and watch. Man, I don't talk much in that one anyway. Man, he said, "Are you going to let me talk about this?"
Yeah. Do you want me to finish this story?
Oh, I love him. He's a good one.
Oh, so you guys do all that, and you're like, man, I could get used to this, but don't get used to that.
Yeah, no shit.
But then all of a sudden, you find yourself in Superdrag. How the hell does that all?
The 2 premier bands from Knoxville in the 90s.
Yeah.
You were in.
Yeah, I know.
Basically.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I feel pretty lucky. And it wasn't all of a sudden. It was like, the 1999, when everything was going to break down, Y2, Y3, whatever.
Yeah.
Y4.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. That's when V-Roys broke up. And then me and Robbie Trosper put together a band called The Faults. And we recorded with on Coffee.
Yeah.
Their studio. Superdrag studio.
Right.
That was on right off of Magnolia, wasn't it?
That was, Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, that's
dude, that place was awesome.
The console was Rick Wolf's console.
Rick Wolf was there all the time. We used a lot of his mics.
Yeah.
That place was fucking awesome.
I loved it. Of course, they built that interchange there, and that took that building out. But
yeah. You know what? Looking at it now, they didn't have to do that.
No, they didn't. And that would be a real iconic place now.
Absolutely.
I mean, it would.
Well, especially being so close to the, to downtown and the.
Oh, that
heartbeat.
place. Yeah, man, that was a waste.
It had vibe, and it was a neat. I was over there a lot. Rick had put that patch bay together, which was
Rick was there a lot.
Oh, yeah. I recorded there one time. He called me.
I think he got onto us one time. I don't think we intentionally abused one of his microphones, but we kind of like abused one of his microphones.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, because he had the 2 shotgun shack kind of things. Was one side and then the other side where the console was.
Yeah. He had that fabric above it. That room sounded really good. That microphone you abused is probably sitting in my house. I got all of it.
No shit.
From Rick's side. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So anyway, that would have been right about the time before or after. I think right after Superdrag did in the Valley of Dying Stars, they recorded that there with Nick Raskulinitz. And then right after that, the Faults recorded self-titled The Faults record. And when we did that, basically, John played on it, Don played on it. After that, when was it? Oh, I guess when Brandon kind of like moved out and they were doing 3-piece and wanted to add another guitar player, they asked me to do it. And, I mean, how can I not say yes?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right, man. And that's why I'm going back to I feel very fucking lucky that 2 of the most iconic bands in Knoxville, Tennessee, I played with.
Oh, they were for that era. There was nobody else they talked about.
Yeah.
It was.
What's even stupider? I'm not a very good guitar player.
Well, somebody thinks you are.
Well, here's the deal. Is like, I don't mind. I'll jump in a van. I'll go to Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a lot said for that.
Yeah, that means a lot. That does.
Yeah, and if you can be there, and if you're willing to do that, and you can be on time, and they can count on you. I mean, you can be Eddie fucking Van Halen, and if you can't be counted on.
It goes back, and I thought about this. It goes back to like, I look at John Davis as being my dad, and he needed a rhythm player.
Oh,
yeah,
right, okay.
And
well, icing cake.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to put the icing on. You got to have the cake.
And I'm just telling you, I feel very lucky, and I love Knoxville, and I love everything I've got to do.
Yeah,
and I love writing songs.
Yeah. So you did Superdrag for how long?
It wasn't that long. It was only maybe 3 years. We did.
Yeah.
I was on the record, Last Call for Vitriol.
Okay.
And that was our last, no, it wasn't their last studio record. They did some stuff after that. That would have been 2003, I think.
Okay.
What? All right, I'm going to do a quote. Wayne Bledsoe says that's his favorite Superdrag record. I played on that.
Yeah. Okay. So how long after, how does that go by the wayside? Just people had lives and were just ready to do something different, or
John also, I don't want to speak for him because I love him and we're still good friends, but I think he just wanted to move on and do something else.
Yeah.
And just shut it down.
Yeah.
He did a Christian record, didn't
he? He did. And me and my boys went out and opened for him on a few of those shows.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is. It is. John is a great songwriter, and anything he does is awesome. Not anything, but I don't want to sound like that kind of guy, but he's very talented.
He is very talented, yeah.
So, so then you and Robbie had obviously had already played together some.
And Robbie's my boy.
With Don. So is that how kind of the high score got started?
Actually, the high score got started.
They were already doing stuff. Is that right?
Well, here's how it happened.
Okay.
I recorded with Don. Me and Don, when we were doing the Superdrag stuff, recorded Paul Bear's Shoes, my solo.
Okay.
And so while we're doing that in the studio that you're talking about, that's while I'm playing with Superdrag, and we're just in our off time doing that. And I asked Robbie, it's like, hey man, can your band just back me up on a few, just live shows or whatever? He's like, hell yeah, we can do that. And it just moves on from there. And after that, I was like, me and Brad Henderson, who is a great drummer, but he don't give a shit about this shit anymore, so he quit. It's unfortunate because he's so fucking good. We did Push Me On Home, and I'm going to say 2006, 2007, something like that. And then from there, I've had a cast of characters, but Robbie's always been there.
Yeah.
Vance Hillard came in later, and he's always been there. Kevin Abernathy.
Yeah.
Don was there for a while. Don's not there anymore. And Chris Bratta was now playing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris did a Christmas spectacular with us one year, way back when.
Man, he's an awesome dude.
Yeah, he is a really nice guy. Too bad he's a Brewers fan. But other than that, he's an all right guy.
Talk about glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
Name two.
Dim guys.
You can name two Brewers, but I dare you to name three.
Yeah. So, you guys have been, we were talking the other day, and you're talking about maybe trying to do a come out with another happy hour kind of thing, and you say you got songs in the are you taking those songs right now to the woodshed for a recording and all this stuff?
I think I have
present day with.
I think I have enough songs right now to do a record and a half. The only thing I need to figure out is how to number one, afford it. Number two, I don't want it to be a full rock record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right now,
the songs don't call for that, or is
that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to like do, and you said it, Mike. It's like, I don't want to be like, hey, we're a band. Let's just make them rock.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it around this time. It's like, the songs are here.
It's more about the songs.
Yeah. And then I will pull my band in as much as I can as possible. Sure. And if we need some accompaniment, fiddle, banjo, whatever, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Ray Kennedy, like I think I said earlier, I'm going to talk to him about maybe coming full circle, at least doing a half the record in Nashville.
Okay.
And I know you've recorded with John and Mary.
Yeah.
May do some stuff with them. It's
okay.
Like, I'm leaving all that shit open. It's one of those deals. It's like, man, I've been working on these sumbitches so fucking long. I don't want to be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
I want it to be fucking right.
Well, it sounds like they've been guiding you already, the songs.
Yeah.
So just stay the course. That would be my advice, is to and let them continue to.
Absolutely. There's no hurry.
Want them.
There's no fucking hurry.
Yeah.
We don't have a record deal. We're not going to make any fucking money.
Yeah.
I want to do them right. I want them to be going back to the thing. Let's let the stories be what they are.
Right.
Yeah.
If you get that tracked and send me the raw files and I'll mix it for free. And if you like mine better than theirs, you can keep it and use it for nothing.
Jesus Christ. You heard that on air unless you cut that out.
Yeah. Even if you record it even if you record it out there, send me the raw files and I'll do it for you and I'll work on it and I'll kick it to you and see what you think.
Jamie, you've just made me so happy that I'm mad. Fuck. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, this track. I mean, we don't have tracking capabilities right now. We're talking about building a studio out here, but as far as the mix down goes.
Yeah. Well, and as we've talked before, we know this. It's like, I'm still building this motherfucker. So if you want to be part of the building,
sure,
that would be awesome. Like,
I eat it up. I love it.
It's like,
yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. Like, hey, I got these songs. Let's go down and do blah, blah at so-and-so's place. They're done. No.
Yeah.
No, I want them to, like, every building block of this motherfucker, I want it to be right. So, anyway. Sorry, but thanks, man.
Yeah, I'd love to do it.
Well, that there helps with the problem of how to pay for it,
Well, get it tracked, and they're gonna
of course,
they're gonna give you a rough mix part of the tracking deal. What I'm saying is, you kick me the raw tracks and see if you like mine better. You can have it free.
Okay.
Free.
Can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that.
No. Well, you got. Hey, what's the make the call? What do you got to lose?
That's
what was the
well, if there's no what do you got to lose is like, well, I'll do it for $1,000.
Yeah.
Well, then I got something to lose.
Yeah.
But if you're saying what you're saying,
yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I would just like to work on it.
Man, I'm so fired up. I think this record's going to be here. Well, I don't know if it's going to be good, but here's the way I'm looking at it.
Is it going to be what if it's going to be what you want, more so than maybe any other one that you've done?
The first thing I've ever did, I did not Paul Bear Shoes, Don't Bail. And that's back when I was in West Tennessee. And Jeff Bills took it over, and we recorded over at Danny Brown's house in his basement a long time ago.
You believe he had a studio? Well, that was before he built that building.
Yeah, that was before he was over on Southern.
It was Middlebrook.
Yes, Middlebrook.
Yeah. Save got that now.
Save is there now. So I recorded in Danny Brown's basement with the guy that everybody loves. I had Scott Carpenter, Jeff Bills, Scott Miller came in. I didn't even know him. Scott Carp.
I used to play with him and then Jackie and the Tumble Kings.
Yes. Hey, what was the guy's name that oh my God, I've been drinking too much. Everybody loved him. Bass player.
Oh.
Just say a couple of names. I guarantee
you. Man. Jim Williams.
Rick?
It wouldn't be Rick. God, who else?
He died not long ago. Did a big deal for him. Oh my God. It's killing me.
Not Big Chris that we were talking about the other day.
You guys got me on this one.
You know what? When this is all shut down, I'll be going like, blah, blah, blah. That's his name.
Well, I'll go back and overdub it and say, we were looking for this guy.
Anyway, huge, iconic Knoxville guy. I got to do my first record, which I was like, you know what? I spent $2,000 on that. I was in West Tennessee, and I was like, and I even told my folks, man, they were like, $2,000? God damn.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? This is my fucking tombstone. If I don't do anything else, it's Don't Bail, this record cover. That's my tombstone. And that is what got me going. Terry.
Bass player, Terry.
He played everything. Terry, what's his name?
Terry Phillips?
Nope.
Golly, I don't.
Stump the podcast.
Terry, banana, panna.
Anyway, doesn't matter. We'll figure it out later. So that being said, it's like, I really, really want this to be like, that was my early tombstone. Now I want a mausoleum.
Change my mind.
Yeah. Fuck the damn, unknown soldier bullshit.
Yeah.
I want a mausoleum.
Yeah, there you
with
go.
an angel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why not, right? Well, is there, and with all that being said, is there any kind of theme to this record, or is it just,
Not yet. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can tell just by listening to the songs, it's kind of an adult record.
Okay.
And when I say that, it's not porn and it's not cussing. It's just a grown-up record.
Yeah.
Like one of the songs is called Outlaw Papaw.
Okay.
Another song, Picnic at Shiloh, I think that's a great song. That's a memory of being a kid going to Shiloh Park.
So it's reflective.
Some of it's reflective.
Yeah.
Honestly, most of it is,
yeah. What was the first thing that came to my mind?
No, that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
That does.
Hey, good guys and good gals alike. If you're looking for somewhere to go to get your hair did, then look no further than the Chop Shop Hair Studio. Our longtime friend and supporter, Cindy Lou, opened this spot located in Knoxville's very own Happy Holler back in 2010. Chop Shop Hair Studio offers a variety of services, including facial waxing, accessories, tools, and a complete line of men's and women's products, along with essential oils. A lover and supporter of the musical arts here locally and abroad, Cindy has a small stage with stringed instruments and offers discounts to guests if they are willing to play and or sing a song. The Chop Shop Hair Studio is a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, and 100% pure style, just like our dear friend and owner, Cindy Lou. The hours are Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also visit thechopshophairstudio.com and or call 865-525-4240 to book your next visit to go and get your hair did. Located at 1206 North Central Street, Knoxville, Tennessee, Chop Shop Hair Studios. Stop by and tell them McGill and Jamie sent you to have one more for the good guys. I don't care. So
I don't give a shit either.
I've already heard better than you and anybody else that wants to walk through that fucking door. You know, I got a picture of Merle Haggard over there on the fucking
That's all right.
wall. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I totally get it.
You know what I mean?
I totally know what you
I mean, come on, man. We all have. We all have.
Hey, you're going to edit this shit anyway. Right?
Hey, listen, it would do my heart good the way I feel today for somebody to call me that knows us about the podcast and start raising some shit. I'd smash their foot. Listen, I'm recording this. Please fucking call me.
Whatever if you start rolling that right fucking
It's
down,
rolling already.
I'm not going to say anything bad about anybody that don't fucking deserve it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
And I won't say nothing on this
and
microphone.
You ain't going to say nothing that ain't the truth.
I won't say nothing on this microphone. I won't tell them right to their face either.
Because the truth's the only thing you got to take with you when you
Simple as
leave.
I put it.
Yeah. No, I get it.
That's right.
You know?
So, funny story. You got a funny story.
Okay, so one of my big pet peeves, and I've got some weird little quirky things, you know. I mean, we all do, right? But mine are really fucking like, who goes into a public restroom and turns the fucking light out? That's something that drives me fucking nuts. I already got to go in there and touch so much goddamn nasty shit.
Yeah, I don't want to touch any of that.
Now
You know what I mean? Now I got
to
to touch the light switch because you was afraid they was going to fucking close the doors because they couldn't pay the light bill. Go fuck yourself. I can't take it.
Well,
I can't fucking take it, Mick.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's like, why would you build a goddamn restroom where you have to, like, when you're walking out, if you wiped your ass, you got to pull the handle?
Yeah.
You should be pushing it.
Yeah. So one of the other big things is, and I got a whole bit about the light switch thing, but one of the other things is somebody comes up and gives you a compliment. I don't give a fuck if you just sucked a bag of dicks. If they give you a compliment, you smile and you say two things: thank and you, and that's it. You don't go on with nothing else. It's thank you.
100% agree.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know, whatever. So we're playing. I can't even remember what it was, but it was us. It was the Drunk Uncles back in the day, and Mick Harrison in the high school.
Was it an outdoor deal?
It was an outdoor deal down on the World's Fair side.
Yes, I remember that.
And Scott played after all of us.
Oh, okay.
I think that's right. I may have the wrong show, but at any rate, I had never seen Scott live, and I'm talking about Scott Miller. I never met the guy. I'd heard all the stuff on DVX. I'd heard all the good things about him, his talent, his writing. I heard his body of work. I enjoyed all of it, but I never seen a Scott Miller show live. So that night I stuck around. And, you know, there's probably a couple pretty girls wanting to dance and different stuff like that. So, you know, and back then I wasn't throwing rocks at pretty girls. I was wanting to dance with them. You know what I'm saying? Not like these days. But
Are you throwing rocks at pretty girls now?
Oh, yeah, I can't stop. I ain't got no time for it. No, I'm just kidding. But at any rate, so I stay and I watched the show, and it just blowed me away. I was so happy I stayed. I was so taken back by his stage presence, just everything about it. It was just it was good, right? And so after the show, I go up. Of course, obviously, I've been backstage or whatever, and go where I want to at that point. And I walk up to him and I said, "Hey, man, I just want to tell you." I said, I'm Mike McGill. I said, it don't really matter, any of that, but I introduced myself, and I said, I just want to tell you, heard your music. I've heard good things about you from everybody. I've never got to see you perform live, and man, you knocked my hat in the creek. I just want to tell you, I just thoroughly enjoyed it tonight. And that fucker looked at me and goes, well, you know, we got a new drummer, and we got this guy, and this one just setting in, and, you know, and kind of started poor mouthing me a little bit about, you know, and I just looked at him. Now, here, and again, I don't know shit from apple butter about none of this, right? And I just looked at him and I said, hey, how about you just smile and say thank you like I have to do when they brag on me? And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, thank you. And that was it.
You know what?
And I just walked away. You know, I wasn't trying to prove a point or trying to get in his craw or none of that stuff, but that was my one and only, like, you know, firsthand encounter with Scott.
That is so Scott, because it's like, you know what? You probably called him at the right time. Like, because Scott is perfectionist.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, you know, you probably say, hey, man, that's a great show. In his mind, he's going like, well, we got a new drummer. And it's like,
yeah.
In his mind, he's going like, well, it could have been a whole lot better.
Yeah, yeah.
And not going like, well, thank you very much, you know. But he was like, how much better it could have been, because I know that's how he is.
Well, and we all are that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you probably just called him at the right spot.
I'm sure I did.
Well, but and it's an old school mentality too. It's like we were talking about our dads and whatever. They can't take a compliment either.
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
like,
and I didn't tell that story to poo poo on Scott or anything. No, not at all.
I mean, dude, I do that shit all the time.
Of course. And you know, and then you get those people that come up and tell you that, and they mean it, and you say thank you, and then but you got that other person that's like, well, no, now I really mean it. And I'm sitting there thinking,
so do I. Thank you.
So do I. Thank you very much.
I swear to God, man, I've done that so many times. You know? I've done that not that long ago.
I ain't just blowing smoke now. I mean it. It's like,
oh man, that's really good. And like, you know, and I'm sitting here going through the set and like,
of course,
God damn it, I fucked that up.
Yeah,
you know, and like,
I got the
first. Thank you very much, but I could have done this better. You know, and you don't really, you shouldn't.
No,
tell people that. But in your mind, when somebody starts going like, it's really good. Well, thank you very much. But you know what? I should have done this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, that's when you should go backstage and talk to your band or talk to your manager and like, you know, and then go out front and like, man, that was really good. Well, thank you very much. Go buy some merch.
Yeah. 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 So anyway, it's just, I've always remembered, always laughed about that I was, you know, and I was young.
I bet he remembers it too, though.
He may.
He probably does.
He might.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It was like,
and
all
he might
of
have thought, who's this fucking guy? What the hell?
Yeah, well,
you know, I mean, that's fine too.
Yeah, but I mean, we're all performers.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, that's one thing, because you can always get better. Number one, you get better at songwriting, and number two, you get better at, like, you know, interacting with people. Because there's a lot of it. I've had people like send me letters, you know, like, I bought like Paul Bear's shoes and it changed my life. And I mean that. Somebody actually did that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here going like, what the hell's wrong with your life?
Yeah. You know? You need to get out more. Find some friends.
But they mean it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know, I went back and I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And, you know, anything I can do for you. Because we're songwriters. And we're like, there's a thing that means something to us.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, maybe there's sometimes it's like, because we have low expectations of, you know, like, oh my God, that's great. And like, are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you done give the death stare to, you know, they've fucked up in 3 different places. Or the guy's asking you, what key is this in again? You've only played it 1,400 fucking times.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be the one that has to remember all the shit. You motherfucker.
Man, I'm just saying, anytime a fan does that, and I'm with you.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
I'm always like, oh my God, man, what did I do wrong?
Well, that's the, you said it, and that's the performer in us. Mm-hmm. You know, I've told people for years, if you want to hear it perfect, go buy the record. Mm-hmm. If you want to have a good time and let this stand out as a memory, of an event or something that was great. That's what this should be.
Right.
Because that's what I'm shooting for when I come out there, you know, is for the moment, is for the night, is for the song, you know. But
damn right.
At any rate, you know, it's just one of those funny things that I've always remembered.
That's cool. I'm glad you told that story about Scott.
Yeah.
Because that sounds exactly like you.
And he smiled as big as he could and said, "Thank you." And I was like, you know, I think I gave him a drunk uncle's koozie, and I turned around and walked off. I don't know.
I love Scott. Scott's one of my best friends. We don't talk that much, but he's a good dude. I get him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. And how lucky are we? You know, you were talking about how lucky you've been. I mean, I totally backed into all of this, being miserable at everything I was ever trying to do. I was good at everything. I mean, at most of the stuff that I was doing, but it wasn't what I wanted to do, you know. But to just know that you've had the opportunities to, you know, to open up shows for, like you said, at Farm Aid and you know, and go and perform for the troops, you know, like I've done. And, and different things. And it's just like, you just look back on it sometimes or in the moment. That's why I always ask that question to people is like, because there's been those moments in time that I've just been like, just kind of look around in amazement of being like, how is this happening? Dude, what is happening?
I think about that all the time. You know? And if you want to like really get down to it, like think about back, I don't know what you like, maybe 93, 94, whatever. Like, hey man, I'm playing guitar. I'm really good.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm writing good songs. And, you know, and think about that and move it forward. It's like, or at least I'm talking about myself.
Sure.
Like, you know, the V-Roys, Superdrag. I am good buddies with Con Hunley.
I was going to ask, I'm glad you brought that up.
I mean, for God's sakes, I'm the luckiest dude.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
God, first gig I ever played in my life, he showed up at. It was a place over there.
And you're playing keys.
Oh, yeah. And there was a motel over there on Asheville Highway, actually Chill High Hills Baptist Church bought it up and they're turned into something else. There used to be a hotel right there, and
wasn't it like a Family Inns or something like
and they had or something of that nature, and they had a bar in there called Flame.
Oh, it was a Hojo. It was a Howard Johnson's.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I know exactly where you're talking about.
And he had a bar named Flames, and that was Con's place where he went. And sure enough, he came in and we played, and he sang Georgia and killed it. And he one of the great voices. I see him every time I play at Whittle Springs Golf Course. He's there every time.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's his jam.
He's always there. And then when I got in college, I dated his niece for a while, and his sister's daughter. And so I didn't interact with him any, but man, he's a great singer. God, he's on some of those on YouTube, some of those like that thing I showed you with
kind of like the Gaither thing, but for country
music. He's on some of those.
Yeah, right.
And man,
God, what a voice.
Yeah.
No, man, it's like we did Wayne Bledsoe.
How'd that all come about? It's probably what you're getting ready to
that's
get
where I'm
into.
going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Wayne Bledsoe, actually, and Steve Wildsmith were like, they had a good idea for doing one of Wayne's, like, the
Wayne Stock?
Yeah, Wayne Stock.
Okay.
One of those. And so I don't remember what the first year was, whatever, but they like, hey, let's put these guys together. And we got together. Man, I wish I could remember the year, but it doesn't matter. Wanted me and the high score to back him up. And I swear to God, he walked into the birdhouse, which you've been at.
Yeah,
he walked up there, and he drove a little like Datsun truck. He had a visor hat on. and he was like, "Hey, Mick, how you doing? It's good to meet you. Here's his bass player. I think is married to his sister. I can't remember his name now.
I'll tell you his name here in a minute, but he played. It is married to his sister.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Burton Akers.
Burton
Akers.
Yeah. He showed up there and like, just make sure we're doing the right shit. And we practiced, I don't know, 8 songs or whatever. We've been working our balls off for like a month to have it. And he walked in, he sung his ass off.
Yeah, because
on
last
a bad,
thing you
like
do is to speak
57 mic.
On that PA in that room with speakers facing each other out of the corner.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Jamie. Here's what happened. I'm sitting here and it's like, I know a lot of his songs. And I've met him, and he's the coolest motherfucker I've ever met in the world. And he walked in and started singing, "Oh, girl." And it was like star power.
Oh, man.
There's only a few times that's ever happened. And it was like when Con Hunley started singing, that was star power. It's like you knew. This is not like some just dude.
Oh,
like,
no.
Not even like good guitar players.
Yeah.
It's like super star power.
Yeah. He looks the part, too.
Oh, he looks the part.
He looks the part, and he starts singing, man, and you're like, that guy's as good as anybody. I mean, and his...
We've played, at least, after that show, we've played at least 3 more shows. Because he got along. I love Con. I think he likes me pretty good. And anytime he wants to do anything, I'm there. Just going on to the luckiness of Mick Harrison. The fucking V-Roys, Superdrag, and playing with Con Hunt.
Yeah.
He can play, too. He's a good player.
Well, the last thing we did like the opening anniversary, or they renewed Corner Lounge thing when they bought it. And I tried to get Con to play keyboards, and he's like, nah. He didn't want to play keyboards.
He's a singer.
Yeah, he jumped, sung his ass off.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's why we still, to this day, his version of Columbus Sake Blues, we play it to this day. Con Hunley version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, like I say, man, you guys are firing me up.
Well, that's great, man. What was one of those other times? You say there was
like, we did 2 Wayne stocks.
No. I'm saying, let me. What was one of those other times that you were just like, this is star power?
Rehearsing for Steve Earle Farm Aid.
Okay.
In their big fucking room in Nashville. Right. You know, they got all kind of.
Yeah.
I'm renting a room for it looks like goddamn.
Yeah.
And get in there and then him singing on the mic. Yeah, this is fucking star power.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things you like. Oh, another one is like me and when I was in Superdrag, I made good buddies. We did a lot of touring with Guided by Voices.
Okay.
So me and Doug Gillard became very good friends. And Doug played on Paul Bear's Shoes, and he helped me co-write a song on the last record. So that's another star power.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Doug, I want a telly sound, a country sound of this one song. Do you need a telly and a different amp? And he's like playing a Les Paul.
Yeah. No, I got
so
it.
good. He made it sound like a telly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. So yeah, I've been very lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I've, in some of in one of Wayne's write-ups in a bio about you was that you'd played a show with Huey Lewis in the News.
Me and Vance, actually.
Okay.
It was like...
Because I'm a fucking huge Huey Lewis fan.
Me too.
Awesome.
Oh, my
Me
God.
too.
Sports?
Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I think it was me and Kevin played.
Okay.
Because Kevin used to live out in California.
Right. Yeah.
So we played that show, opened up for him. They were so awesome because I'm a huge fan too.
Oh, yeah.
We went over and hung out with him at the hotel.
Oh, wow.
Whatever that hotel is, close to the Bijou. A couple blocks back. And Kevin, like, those guys started talking about golf. And, like, they were like, they didn't grow up in the same place, but they, like, lived in the same place. Huey Lewis is cool as shit.
Oh,
and could sing
man.
his ass off, too.
He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that's good to hear, because, you know, you're always afraid to, you know, the meet your hero type of thing.
Man, I met my hero, and he was a fucking asshole.
He was a douchebag.
Huey Lewis is fucking cool.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy I hang out with him.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's awesome.
And he was in Back to the Future. So.
Oh, man. I mean.
Man, and you think about it, like, when you go back really a long time ago in San Francisco, when he's, like, playing harmonica in blues bands and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty badass.
Oh, dude, and then cross over and do all the doo-wop stuff and make it on the top 40 and motion pictures and everything else. It's fucking crazy.
I mean, the thing I don't know about is, like, I keep seeing, like, you know, evidently he's lost his hearing.
Yeah, he's got that. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Where it rings.
Yeah, where you just got the constant ringing, and he's went deaf.
Sucks.
Yeah, that does stink.
Because he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's see some pictures.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Kevin.
The lead singer of AC/DC, not the original, but
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
He's got a hearing thing too, so he can't.
You know, somebody else here locally that's got that is really bad is Whitlock.
Oh, really?
Yeah, John Whitlock. He battles with it all the time with that.
Man,
constantly.
I wouldn't know it playing with him.
No, John's great.
No, all I know is drumming wise, he's great.
That's what we're talking about.
I've had a couple of those star power moments with, like, some people that we've been we had, like, you know, one of them was John Anderson.
I can see that.
Yeah,
that's a voice that, like, there's no other voice.
No, there's no other voice. But
boy, you can do him though. You got John Anderson.
Oh yeah, I'd like to do a fun record with, like, John Anderson sings the 80s. You know,
I want to be on that record.
Oh my God, it's fucking great. She was a fast machine. She kept her motor clean.
Yes.
Best man
my dad loved his
ever seen.
He didn't give a
that wasn't
shit
the best.
about vocals.
That wasn't my best performance, but
all he gave a shit was about guitar players. He's like, man, that John Anderson, I like his voice.
Yeah,
just a swing.
Yeah. So we played with him, and we were talking to him, and we were like, we were standing outside the bus, and he was just hanging out, talking to us like it was nothing, and we were just like, you know, you got any new music? You got any new stuff coming out? Or, you know, you gonna do, you know, you putting any music out? And he was like, and he's got this real deep voice. I mean, really, really deep. I mean, much deeper than I can talk now. But he was just like, oh, hell, I couldn't get a cut with a razor blade in Nashville. You know,
that's a great saying, but he's probably right.
Oh, he's totally right. Well, I wrote this song called Why? And it's, and in one of the lines it says, I can't remember what verse it comes in on. It says, Johnny, George, Merle, Hank, and Waylon never left the world alive, and they would need a razor blade to get a cut in Nashville. Tell me why?
That's one of your lines?
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Thank you. And it came from standing outside the bus that night.
I couldn't get a cut of.
But yeah, I couldn't. Hell, awesome. Boys, I couldn't get a cut with a razor blade in Nashville. But he was just so genuine. I mean, it's like those guys don't even have to talk either. You know, they're just oozing cool. You know,
I do, and that's like, I don't understand.
It's like they're just listening to everything, and then they got their time in. You know,
and I don't understand, like, now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say anything bad about anybody.
Yeah.
But,
I will.
like the younger country folks. God might if you.
He hates Rocky Patel. In case anybody wasn't listening.
But you know what I mean? Like the younger country folks.
Yeah.
There's nobody that stands out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, none of them, I don't know any that are identifiable.
Yeah.
You know, like used to, and I think that's got as much to do with the machine as it does anything else.
Absolutely.
You know, and it's always been a machine down there. Let's don't get hung up on the stay off my lawn bullshit.
Well, boy,
it's always been.
It's always been a machine.
You're right about that.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Oh, absolutely.
I think now though
it's like
one of those
stealing.
well-oiled machines. Like there'll be some free-range chickens back in the day, but now it's all fucking factory chickens.
Yeah. You have to, not to interrupt your thought, but basically now you have to be a songwriter that's a good singer to break through that. Otherwise, they own you. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah. Well, and that's the deal. It's like I got a buddy, Philip Coleman, who's going to play with me.
And that's a bonus if you're that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He didn't get run out of Nashville, but he's our age.
Uh-huh.
He had he got nominated for a Grammy when Brooks and Dunn would be like the guy with the beard, not the short guy, but the taller guy. He got nominated for a Song of the Year.
Ronnie Dunn.
Yes. That was my buddy, Philip Coleman's song.
What was it called?
I don't know now.
It was on Ronnie Dunn's solo album?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, he was there in the early 2000s, and now he doesn't even live in Nashville.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole nother orbit of people. He's my age, y'all's age.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, nobody will even look at it.
Well, they're dinosaurs. I mean, honestly.
But it's a good song. But
absolutely.
Well, you can't.
And he may have 10 more lined up about it, but
but
it ain't going.
Now you listen to West Tennessee.
Yeah.
They do not want superstars anymore because people like Taylor Swift that just got so popular. But I mean, even she got her damn songs stolen, and had to go recut them. They don't want people for more than 3 records because then they got to start paying them. And they just churn them out, and they all sound the same. They compress the damn vocal to where it's got that much dynamic range, and all this. It's just same song.
Well, Jamie, that being said, I'm glad you're going down this road because I'm a hater of Spotify.
Yeah.
I get a check every 3 or 4 months for like $18, and when I look at the plays are like amazing, like 2,000-3,000 plays. $18.
Yeah.
How does that fucking make sense? And I know there's plenty of people in the world that like, okay, Spotify is like basically ripping you off and everybody knows it, but we still let them do it. I don't know how musicians, writers or whatever can stop it because, for the average fan, like, oh, man, I can stop Spotify and like do the Waylon Jennings blend or whatever.
Yeah.
I hear all the shit I want to hear and I pay $10 a month or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well,
but the artists are getting fucked in the ass.
Well, they're getting fucked, but the argument was this. Okay, you can cut your records, press CDs, and do all this shit and that expense, or you can cut your records and we'll make an MP3 file out of it. And people who hear your music in their mind for free that would never hear you ever. And
that is the myth.
That's a myth.
That is the bullshit myth.
That's the pitch.
Yeah.
Because they're like,
you're getting, man, you know what? What Mary Gaucher told me one time is like, they told me it's like, man, you just get it for exposure. It's like you can die from exposure.
That's what he said that the
and
other day.
And you can die from exposure because that's fucking bullshit.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, what they've done, though, is that, I mean, it's evil as hell, but it's a genius move, really, if you're a business person. But what they've done is they've pitched that and said, okay, nobody's ever going to fucking hear you, ever. And we can get you to the masses, but we're going to take, instead of paying you 8 cents a song, we're going to pay you 2 cents a song.
You know what? That's what pisses me off. If we could get to the people that are like, you know what? Just put it on Facebook. Don't, like, if you want people to hear you, do that. Don't clutter up the whole fucking system of like songwriting, because there's a lot of artists on there that are getting paid nothing. I mean, it's almost like living in California. It's like there's this level of people and the people that blow your leaves out of your yard. There's no in between.
That's right.
And that's the same way it is for musicians.
Yep.
There's no in between. You're either top of the list. Well, you're either top of the list or you ain't nothing.
Well, you're either the shit or you're the shits.
Shit, yeah. I would like to do it.
And there's a big difference.
A good episode for us to do would be talking about this, and I've studied this. But you think about the 90s when country had its resurgence, and I still listen to 90s country. I can hear it and I'm like, okay, that's still recognizable as country. This new shit.
No, that's early 80s like pop.
Correct. Yeah. So, what the hell was I saying?
I don't know, but I already agree with you.
Yeah. As long as we're in agreement about it.
Well,
just keep rolling.
The country. This is what I was getting at. In the 90s, you had all these huge stars emerge, right? Garth, Clint, Alan Jackson, all these folks.
Even Reba and all that.
All of them, okay.
Yeah.
And then you get around to, let's say, late 2000s or whatever. All those people, is like John Anderson said, they can't get a cut in Nashville with a razor blade. And it's because they got too much clout, too much.
They demand too much money. And so what you have to do is you have to go become your own entity, like a George Strait or an Alan Jackson, to where Nashville don't mean shit. You got more money than they got, so I'm just going to do whatever I want. It comes down to like being a manufacturer, like, if you are a publisher or a record label or whatever, like you could pretty much, it kind of almost goes back to the 50s. Like I can make my own product.
Right. And now you can make your own product a lot easier than you could even 10 years ago. We talk about this off the air a lot, but, when I first started recording stuff, plugins were good. They were okay, and they held a lot cheaper than buying outboard hardware and all this. Well, now they're damn good. So somebody that went out and, you take a Blackbird Studios or something out in Nashville, which is the premier studio out there. And, I can't remember how many rooms they got. I can't remember how many thousand microphones they got. It's ridiculous.
Hey folks, if you're looking for a cool, eclectic place with an outside patio, winning of UT sports games, cold beer, and live music on the weekends, then look no further than one of our homes away from home, Trailhead Beer Market, located at 1317 Island Home Avenue in South Knoxville, Tennessee. Trailhead is South Knoxville's first beer market, situated on the banks of the Tennessee River and in the backyard of the Urban Wilderness and Iams Nature Center. You can find more info on Facebook and Instagram about specials, live acts, and the goings-on, and be sure to tell them McGill and Jamie sent you, and have one more for the good guys. Well, to the general public, it's a charade. And the general public don't realize and or understand. If you took any other profession in the entertainment field and you looked at it versus, I mean, just go watch any fucking Joe Rogan podcast where he's talking to someone who is in the music business. Whether you go from guys like the Black Keys to Stapleton to Sturgill to whomever, from the lowest level to the highest of whatever fame or fortune that they've gotten to or have had in the past, and there are more pieces to the pie in the music industry than there is any other pie in any other entertainment genre that there are. If your standard pie has 4 pieces, 6 pieces, we got 12. Somebody's got their fucking finger in the pie constantly, and it's always, and people don't know. The general public just believe what they believe because they get in their car, they turn on the radio, there it is.
Here's what I think the general public thinks.
You know?
It's like, you know, because you get to see like documentaries or whatever of like, you know, Fleetwood Mac or Led Zeppelin, and like, you know, they've got their own jets and all this shit.
Yeah.
And that might have been maybe in the 70s or whatever that might have happened. But like in reality, it's like any other, you know, producing, you know, manufacturing or whatever. So
absolutely.
I'm giving you a fucking product. You're going to pay for it.
Absolutely.
But
we're going to make you think you're not paying for anything
right
as we go along.
I'm just saying, it's like right now, it's not anything like the 70s. I think that might be one of the deals going back to our early conversation. Like, well, shit, far fucking right. One good song,
Just
I'll be set for life.
You know.
Well, that ain't the case.
Yeah.
That ain't the case at all.
Well, it probably could be the case if you had enough either clout, looks, and or impressionism on somebody that could get you through the inner sanctum.
Well,
you know,
I also look at that like, you know, and we know,
but not for us to write it and get it, but for us to write it and someone else do it.
I think looking at everything like the Taylor Swifts, the I don't know what's her name or whatever. There's the 1% at the top.
Oh yeah.
And the rest of us are creating and making art. But there's that 1% that when you're young, especially, you're going to like, I want to be in that 1%. But in reality, that's not the way it is.
No. And let's go back to the thing that we were touching on earlier as well. Guys like our heroes, personal heroes, guys like Buck Owens, guys like Haggard, guys like Willie, guys like Waylon, gals like Dolly, they fucking left Nashville.
Oh, absolutely.
And got completely away from it and had more success and did better for themselves as an entity or a business owner or as a what am I trying to say, as an entertainer than they ever would have if they'd stayed. Now,
this thing I will say,
machine.
I remember when the V-Roys did a deal with Steve Earle. I remember right off the bat he was going like, man, you make money in publishing. And in 95, you did.
Right.
But then, and I was involved in that, like in 97, 98. Somewhere when it went digital, it totally changed. Publishing was screwed. Now, and I guarantee if you called Steve Earle up right now, he would be like, you make money in merch.
Yeah.
And ticket sales.
Yeah.
You don't make money in publishing.
No, you make your
But
money.
you used to in the early 90s, 80s and all that stuff. You would. But it's a total different world.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of that had to do with like when Napster first came along.
Yeah.
That it was such a it was so far ahead of any kind of, it was unconditional versus conditional.
Yeah.
You know, or excuse me, traditional versus untraditional ways of being, to do your thing and to make money. And of course, you know, there's a 4-letter word that fucked it all up, and it's called Sony. If you want to get right back down to the nitty gritty of it, because, you know, the whole Napster thing, and then the digital age that was coming.
Yeah.
That was going to be honestly, for the artist. They seen it and bucked it and was like, no, we got to figure out a way to combat this, because,
you know what? I mean, it's like, I'm not a big union guy or whatever, but if there was ever like a like push for like getting due compensation for your fucking art, I would jump on board.
Oh yeah.
Cause
it's so hard to police though. I mean, you know, in the 70s, piracy was not, you know, viable. You couldn't just go out and reproduce something, and then when the digital age came along,
oh no,
you know,
is it hard to police, or is it impossible to police?
It's impossible. It's impossible.
See, I don't buy much into that. I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Well, it's so easy now to find that stuff. I mean, hell, there's programs where you can go, okay, just about any song you want to listen to is on YouTube.
Yeah.
For free.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how, and I hate to be that asshole, but that's how I listen to music.
Yeah. And it's in HD. So there are programs that you can load alongside YouTube, and as you play it, you can record it. It's impossible.
But here's my fucking deal.
Right.
You know?
Jamie, if you don't mind me saying this, here's my fucking deal. It's like, if you're going to like buy in to like do your fucking $15 whatever subscription to fucking Spotify's the one that pisses me off, because I've got fucking checks from them.
Well, they're the ones really fucking you.
Oh, they're the worst.
Yeah, I get them too.
I got to pay Joe Rogan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's the deal. That's the whole setup. It's like, that's the top deal. You're like the Joe Rogans and Taylor Swifts. They have this thing, and I don't know how they do that fucking math. But the top level gets like this. They don't like do it by counts. They don't do it by that. The top level gets this, and so your underlings get like, yeah, we'll give them something. You know, it's fucking bullshit.
Well, I tell you how they do it. They say, fuck them, feed them cake.
That's
absolutely how they do it.
Yeah, and exactly. But back to what he said about impossible. It's impossible to police. Well, and they know it. So
I don't think it's impossible to police.
Well,
I think there's what we're missing here. It's impossible to police 100%. But is there a better way to do it? Hell yeah, there's got to be.
But there's not ever going to be a solution, because here's the deal. In any business, when you start spending money on speculative or things, and that's all you do, you're in trouble. That's not a good business model. And in the music industry, if I take an artist and I spend all this money up front in the hopes that I'm going to recoup some of it based on my experience, and this girl's really good, you know, that kind of business model doesn't work, because there's
nobody does that anymore.
Well, the reason they don't do it anymore is because it doesn't work.
Right.
So what they do is say, okay, we're going to do a 3-album deal. Yeah, we're going to do a 3-album deal.
He said,
okay, you're going to get this much, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you out on the road, and we're going to spend all this money. Now, what they don't tell you right then is that actually you're paying for that with your ticket sales.
Oh, you.
And you'll get out, and you'll be able to promote your record. Okay. That's why people like the Rolling Stones. When's the last fucking time the Rolling Stones had a number one? It's not been in my lifetime. If it has, I was 4. But the sons of bitches are worth $1 billion because they tour their ass off. The music industry went from being a speculative business to being, hey, Go out and earn your money so we can pay for this fucking recording we just did. And now it's not speculative. So like the Rolling Stones, they make all their money touring. That's how they make it, because the record company says, okay, and whoever's sponsoring the tour, we're going to give you a percentage of this. Just like saying, I want to give you, you're going to get percentage of the door, right? Which that means if nobody comes to the fucking door, you don't get paid. Okay. So same thing with whoever's sponsoring the tour. They say, you're going to go out, you're going to do this, and we're going to give you probably 40, I don't know the numbers at all, 40% of ticket sales. Okay. Well, 40% of nothing's nothing. So in the record company or whoever's sponsoring the tour knows that too. So for every dollar you make, we're going to take 60 cents to recoup this and whatever. Whereas over here, if I just cut this CD and spend $100,000 putting it in the record bar and Cat's Music, and you don't sell any of them, I just lost my ass. And so I'm not saying as an artist and musician, I'm not saying it's fair, because it's not fair. But what I'm saying is the people with the money control everything. It's never going to change. Because
it could change.
But it's not going to, because now you can take, I read this article yesterday. All of these ED.
Here's what's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sobriety.
That's right. So electronic dance music.
Hang on to her, Newt. She's headed for the rhubarb.
EDM, for example, is a genre of music that is still very big and I don't ever listen to. And goddamn, you got me thinking Lonesome Dove now and I can't think of nothing else.
Sorry, buddy.
I love Lonesome.
It's the greatest thing that's ever been filmed.
Well, that'll be second to Band of Brothers on my.
Oh boy, that's
Band of Brothers is good. Boy, doesn't it make you? I thought about Band of Brothers today because
I've watched that 20.
Because Friends was on, and the guy that plays Ross in Friends is in Band of Brothers.
Oh yeah, he's Sobel,
and he's just such a dick.
He's a dick,
Lieutenant Sobel.
He's just such a dick.
I like him. That. Oh, go ahead.
Anyway, so back on electronic dance music. Okay, I read an article yesterday, and I read a lot about recording, and I stay on top of it because I want to be cutting edge when it comes to that shit. But electronic dance music is in the whole industry is like in fear that they're going to be completely replaced by AI.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Because anything that is, if you're listening and doing EDM, I don't know shit about it really, but it's loop based. There's a lot of loops and there's a lot of repetitiveness to it. And you can teach AI to do that better than you can humans. So here's the new thing they're going to hold over musicians' heads. Like, look, motherfucker, I don't need you anyway. I can spend $3,000 and use this program.
Just like actors.
Exactly. It's right. And that's next. Music.
Well, that's why they've been on strike.
Music always sets the tone.
Okay.
That and the fact that
all being said, and I agree. I know that's a thing. How do you break that?
Well, God forbid, I can't believe I'm saying this on the air.
Oh, shit.
The only way to combat AI is to have, I can't believe I'm saying this, some kind of government regulation on it. And you talked about unions. I said last year that I thought the unions were going to come back in a big way because of AI. And because if you don't, it's just like going back to the Detroit problem.
Well, it always comes down to like whoever's got it wants to make money, save money.
Yeah.
Always.
But they're going to replace artists. There's an app I have on my phone called Speechify. This is a good example about AI. You can have a book read to you on that app by Snoop Dogg right now. And what they've done is they've gone and
I don't want to hear a book.
Yeah. Gwyneth Paltrow.
I want to hear him read the Bible.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. That would be
beginning, my nizzle.
In the beginning.
I want to hear that. Genesis, first couple of chapters.
Yeah. So what they did is they came in and they recorded him saying, talking or whatever. And they've recreated his voice because obviously he doesn't, you can take any text and put in that and read it. Okay. They can do that now in 10 years. Yeah. In 10 years time, here's what's going to happen. Wait. They're going to have new cuts on the radio from Elvis.
No, I heard about the Beatles thing.
Yeah.
I know that was like.
Well, I haven't heard that, but I mean, that's what's going to happen. And they're going to replace artists completely.
Well, listen,
and actors.
Just watch the commercials, dude. This new Google phone that's coming out. If you stream anything, you've seen this fucking commercial I'm talking about. You stream anything of how you watch TV nowadays, you've seen this commercial. The new Google phone, okay? So it's got a thing like if somebody's not looking the right way or doing the smile, their best smile or whatever, it corrects all that.
Sure.
So what happens when some motherfucker takes a video of you and or a picture of you and it's able to be doctored and then
they're already doing it.
I mean, in the worst case scenario but I'm saying like and could convict you of a crime.
That's right. Hey, here's a camera. This is footage.
There's proof.
Yeah, right here it is.
Well,
that's scary shit, man.
Everybody knows that. That's the thing. So, like, let's just talk about this. I don't think that's me. Why don't you go back and look at the video?
Yeah.
But I will. Here's the thing that fucks me up. It's like, we got the like Alexa and the.
I hate that shit. Yeah.
Like, hey Alexa, what's the weather going to be today? And all this shit. And that's fine or whatever.
I don't like that shit.
Freaks me out, and I don't like it either. Things freaks me out, and I don't even think I said it out fucking loud.
Yeah,
I was like thinking about pallets.
Yeah,
pallets.
Yeah,
that you blow shit on. It's
like,
man, I could use some pallets. I'd probably build a bonfire. Hell, I might even do that on the garage on the back.
Yeah.
The next fucking day, I didn't say anything, or I don't think I said anything. All my fucking Facebook shit was pallets.
Pallets.
Oh, yeah.
Which you would never see otherwise on Facebook. I mean, who the hell?
I'm kind of like, I hate to sound weird about this, but I'm about ready to shut all that shit down.
It's some spooky shit, man.
I think you're going to see a lot of people shut it down. I think it's been a phase. The AI thing may work out in our benefit because it can recreate everything about a performance or a song except the soul of it, the humanity part of it.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
So maybe we'll get back to listening to good music.
Glorified drum
The only
machine.
thing that makes that is going to be like the fuck ups.
Yeah.
That's
right.
And that's kind of always been. I remember when it was like went from analog to like
digital.
Digital was like, man, we're losing the fuck ups. Some of the best songs have a little bit of a fuck up in it.
Yeah.
The
magic.
Yeah. Anyway, that being said, though, it was like
you go back and listen to the original recording of Tiger by the Tail, and the very fucking last note, the bass player hits it a half step flat.
Yep.
Yes. See?
And that's the one they picked.
And that's
because it had the magic. They gonna go back and try to redo it? No.
But they would now.
Oh, absolutely.
They'd
just clip, pop, pop, boom, boom.
Well, all that coming back around to Spotify. I fucking hate Spotify.
Hate you, Spotify.
Rocky Patel and Spotify. Fuck you both.
If you don't jump into all the other stuff about AI stuff, I'm gonna sit here on your goddamn podcast.
Hell yeah.
Drop fucking Spotify if you like artists.
You're not helping. I mean, listen, do what you got to do. But yes, we're not seeing any kind of percentages of any kind of residuals that
if here's the deal. It's like if you got a song you really like, you put it out put it out on damn YouTube.
Yeah.
And they'll come find it.
Well,
but don't put it on Spotify because they're gonna fuck you in the ass.
Well, and so here's some similarities to that. All your stand-up guys and gals nowadays are going straight to YouTube for their specials.
Yep.
You know, and they're generating more interest. They're generating more money. They're dealing with less of production costs, to a degree. Now they're paying for it all up front, which fine. Okay. That's the way you do your fucking groceries. You have to pay for them.
You don't buy your groceries.
You're going to get baked beans. You're going to fucking pay for them. Exactly. So, but that's already happening. And I said this the other day, and I firmly believe this, and it kind of goes back to this in similarities of this whole thing, is there is no better time and sooner time than right now for if you're an artist or a maker or someone that's out there doing something that somebody else can't do, or maybe that you can do a little bit better. There is no better time than right now to fucking bet on yourself.
I love it.
Ever.
Yep.
Ever in the history of the fucking planet. It is time for you to bet on yourself. We see it in athletes.
Yep.
We see it in comedians. We see it everywhere we look. You watch anything from those, and I mentioned these earlier, from like the Black Keys to Sturgill to Stapleton to all these different guys, Tyler Childers, you know, and they are betting on themselves. They're not signing deals. They're not fucking conforming.
That is the way.
And they're it's the only, I mean, they're taking out second mortgages and betting on themselves.
Yeah, man, that's the way.
Sturgill's told me that one night himself. He's like, and if it fails this time, then so be it. Yep. I'll go back to driving a fucking train.
Yep.
I mean, he told me that come out of his mouth.
100% agree with that.
And it is the truth. And so if you're hey, let's take the Christmas Spectacular, for instance.
I'm glad you got to that.
I mean, there ain't no other way that I'm on that Bijou stage. I've been around. I've made more racket. I've played more music, wrote more songs than just about anybody else has. And I never got invited.
But
I got to say this up front. I did have the opportunity before to play on the Bijou stage 3 different times. But to be selected and asked to do it, okay? But I would have never had the opportunity to take this thing that's been such a great thing for the last 10 years and turn it into it. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Mick, listen to me, what I'm telling you. I didn't have a clue on them talking to me, oh, here's your sheets and here's your things and here's the printouts. Well, they might as well sent me a bunch of goddamn Chinese fucking algebra to do. I didn't know dick from dick. I didn't know nothing. And I just said, okay, that all looks great. You know, the standard Google reply, thanks, looks great. Yeah. That's all I did. I didn't know at the end of the night if I was going to owe them money or if they were going to pay me money. But I had to stand up on my 2 fucking hind legs and go into that fearless. Because if fear is the enemy, no, let's rephrase that. Fear is the only fucking enemy. It is the fucking enemy.
You ain't got no fear.
And you can't be afraid. You cannot be afraid, man. And that's why I say today is no more important time ever in the history for you to bet on yourself. If you know what you're doing is good, it's quality, and you believe in it 110%, fuck them all and feed them fish. Go do what you're supposed to do.
Man.
You think they would told Farron Young, hey, if you don't get on stage in 10 minutes, we're fucking, you ain't ever getting paid. Well, you go fuck your mother. I don't give a shit. I'm goddamn Sheriff Farron fucking Young. They wouldn't have give a shit. Now, I'm not telling you to be dumb and stupid and be brazen and bold, but I kind of am a little bit telling you to be brazen and bold. Believe in yourself. Yeah, anybody can be an asshole. Don't do that, because anybody can do that. It don't take no fucking special person to be an asshole. But bet on yourself and do what it is you're supposed to do and what you believe in and what you're supposed to do, and you're going to go through it just fucking fine. I guarantee it. So that's my piece on it.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, and doing this this Christmas thing, man, 17th, right?
Yes, December 17th at the Bijou.
Man, and you've been doing it for a while and moving up to the Bijou. It's like, come on.
It's the 11th year.
This is East Tennessee doing the right fucking thing kind of shit.
It really is. I was thinking about this the other day. Everybody was like, well, you gotta, I had a couple of different people. I shouldn't say everybody. And these couple of people that said this, trust them, I love them inexplicably, but they were just like, you got to find younger folks. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to bring in. And I agree. But guess what? The 11th year, I went and found the oldest motherfuckers I know. And that's who's going to be on stage this year.
Yeah.
Mick Harrison's going to be one of them.
I'm pretty goddamn old.
RB's going to be one of them.
RB's going to be there?
Yeah, RB's going to be there.
Awesome.
Finally going to get to make it. And he did one years and years ago at Barley's, but ever since, he's always had the same thing with you and everybody else has had is like, family obligations. And Christmas, and I got to get here, and I got to be there, and I got to come back.
And that's what's like when last year, it's like, God damn it, I want to do it, but I can't, but I'm doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm fucking doing it.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. And Robbie Trosper doing it. Yeah,
Robbie's coming. Our old friend Sarah Schwabi's coming out of Minneapolis. She's coming down to sing a couple of songs. And, and we're working out the rest of it. So stay tuned about all that. But bottom line, again, I can't stress this enough. If you believe in it, what you're doing, and you believe in yourself, bet on yourself, and dare them to fucking prove you wrong. Go do it.
And you can always go back and drive trains.
That's right.
That's right.
That's good wisdom, man.
That's right.
You can always do what you're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jamie's right. You can always go back and do the thing you were doing before.
That's right.
That's 100%.
Yeah. Well, man, I'll tell you what, it's been fun as hell. I've had a great time, and nobody's got to leave. I still got some cigar to smoke, and we got beers to drink.
I just want to say, if you don't mind, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for letting me come in here. I mean, obviously, nobody can see what's going on here, but man, this is a great place to do a podcast. It's very comfortable.
Well, thank you.
I mean, we're talking to each other, and it's like, it doesn't even feel like, like this is going to be anybody else is going to hear this.
Right.
So, man, thank you guys so much for letting me do this.
Well, you're very welcome, Mick, and that's very comforting to know that, that's the thing. We want everybody to feel comfortable. Everybody's like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? Should I bring a guitar? Should I sing? And I'm like, no, nothing. None of that shit.
Well, actually, I'm really glad you like, hey, man, bring a guitar and play a song. It's like, this is way better than doing that shit.
Yeah. I remember Wayne Bledsoe loves to tell this story. You brought Wayne up a minute ago. He loves to tell this story about me and Macho one night. Our record just came out, the first record, Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal with the Barstool Romeos.
Oh, I love that record.
And
I got it.
And we showed up that night, and Wayne invited us to come do All Over the Road. And of course, when you go in to do All Over the Road at that time, it was live performance, pretty much.
At that time, you show up at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, and Wayne would talk to you a little bit, most of the time, but most of the time he wanted you to. It was mostly about the live performance, and you'd have a few screwdrivers and all that good stuff with Wayne.
12 o'clock at night.
Oh, I know.
Saturday night.
I know. And then need somebody to drive you home at 4 a.m. when it ended. And so we got in there and we started doing. We sang a few songs and we sang a Haggard song. We'd sing a Win Stewart song. We'd sing somebody else's song. And we were just doing all the shit we wanted to do. And Wayne was, hyping the album and talking about it and everything. And he was like, finally, after about 20 minutes or whatever, a couple of spins around through his show, he's like, are you guys going to play anything off the damn record? And I was like, no.
No, we weren't playing on it.
You got the record. How about spinning it? That's what I want to hear.
That's what I always try to do. It's like, why do you want to come in and play acoustic? I've got the goddamn record.
I've worked my whole life to make this record.
Yeah. And you want to hear a damn rough version?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Oh, yeah. And he goes, really? You guys ain't going to? And I was like, no. And Macho totally just played the straight guy and backed me up in it. And we just kept playing, Buck Owens, Don Williams. I mean, we just kept playing all this stuff.
Because you're right, man.
Yeah.
Anytime any radio things was like, hey, man, can you play acoustic versions of the record? Like,
yeah. How about you?
Got the goddamn record.
Just spin the record, for Christ's sakes.
I'm not promoting my acoustic thing that I fuck up.
Yeah.
I am promoting this record that I just made.
Yeah.
Play the fucking record.
Yeah, I put my life and soul into. So, at any rate, I think we left him on the hook for over an hour. And then finally we decided, okay, we'll play one off the record, or whatever.
One of my favorite people in the whole fucking world.
Mine as well. Such a great guy.
Thank you guys so much for letting me do this.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Mick, thank you, buddy. You're welcome, first of all. And, here I ask us every time before we get ready to close out, would you like to come back?
The fuck? Absolutely, yeah, man. I'll be back tomorrow.
Well, we got all the other stuff out of the way now. Everybody knows you. We know all the stuff. We know the. I mean,
we'll come back. What do you want to talk about? Tell me what you want to talk about. I'll come back.
We'll welcome you in with a cut of Sawmill Man by Mel Tillis. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got
I do.
We got it all covered now. So, but.
Hell, some Gene Watson.
14 Karat Mine.
Yes.
Yeah. Willie gave up his wife and children. I wonder if he's still alive.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I paid $7 Sawmill dollars.
That song, right?
I paid $7 Sawmill dollars for a bracelet just to satisfy your 14 karat
mine.
Man, Gene still got it. I heard him the other day doing a live thing, and he still fucking got it. He did Farewell Party. He's got to be 136 years old. And he did Farewell Party out of D, same recorded key, and killed it. The big ending,
what's crazy?
Everything, killed it.
I know you know this. It's like, what's crazy is that damn 14 Karat Mine is a very complicated song to play.
Yeah.
Chord-wise. I mean, yeah, it sounds like, okay.
It's got
chord-wise, man, there's some damn changes and shit. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, it drops down to the minor.
Yeah.
What was the chorus? Was
laying on these railroad tracks in Denver
with a hurting head and a half a pint of wine. Yeah.
Everything except my soul has been surrendered just to satisfy your 14 karat mind.
All right, folks. Jamie, you want to do another one?
I certainly do.
Hey, folks, be nice to one another. Love each other. Don't be an asshole. Anybody can be a fucking asshole. Be something good and try to help somebody up along the way. Feed an old stray dog every once in a while. Do what you got to do. Be a good person. We love you. And, if you're out there in front of anybody for us, Cheers. Have one more for the good guys.
Woo!
We'll see you. You either is or you ain't. You do or you don't. You can or you can't. Or you will or you won't. Either way, baby, a good man, well, he's hard to find.